and not allow them into the U.S. as their asylum claims are processed. Nielsen says the policy puts safety for Americans as the first priority.
These protocols will result in a significant decrease in illegal migration across our border, and importantly, they will disincentivize perilous journeys to the United States in the first place.
More details on the agreement are still to be released. The ACLU calls the policy an illegal one, putting migrants in life-threatening situations. Lisa.
Thanks, Colonel. A former Pennsylvania pediatrician just pleading guilty to sexually abusing 31 children, most of them patients, usually between 8 and 12 years old, though one victim was just 2 weeks old. Prosecutors say the abuse spanned decades, including 2 family members. 71-year-old Johnny Bartow, arrested last January, remains behind bars to await sentencing. His medical license already suspended. Hundreds of people turning in their guns, no questions asked, in Baltimore's second buyback program.
300 firearms were handed in for money in Baltimore, and the submitting owners pocketed cash ranging from $25 to hundreds of dollars. Alonzo Plento needed the money because he just lost his job.
I turned in a Smith & Wesson 9mm. I'm headed for home protection.
Others wanted easy cash for other things.
We got a cruise coming up, so that's going to buy my liquor package.
One woman tells reporters she turned in an old 9mm to get money to put towards a new gun. Baltimore officials set aside $250,000 for the program. Eben Brown, Fox News.
Recapping the sell-off on Wall Street right now, the Dow is down 485 points, under 23K. Lisa Brady, this is Fox News.
Because I just signed up for a 12-month iConnect plan, I'm automatically entered into iConnect's Connect and Win giveaway. iConnect is giving away a trip for 2 to Manila with a stay at the new Holiday Inn Express. They'll also be giving away an Apple Watch, Apple TV, more Mabuhay miles, Fitbits, and Beyond the Box gift cards. Go to iConnectGuam.com for details or call 888-8888 to learn how you can connect and win with iConnect.
Conditions apply.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
Hungry? Stop by Circle K for Craft Kitchen's hot breakfast, lunch, and dinner items delivered fresh 3 times a day. Circle K, take it easy.
Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Buy one, get one free. Stop by Circle K today and satisfy your heart's desires. Available at all Circle K stores, excluding Barragata Airport and Campers locations. Applies only to the 3.38-ounce servings.
Boldly styled, meticulously refined, the 2019 ES350 features a longer, wider stance and a sleek coupe-like silhouette inherited from the flagship LS. The ES350 offers an ultimate level of comfort, while cutting-edge engineering delivers a thrilling drive. Visit the Lexus showroom today at Atkins Kroll during the December to Remember sales event. Drive home a 2019 ES350 for 0 down and 1.99% APR for 60 months. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details. Experience amazing.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Rita Tidegli of Manila, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Ingatan ang iyong tahanan. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 6 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. 7 Chinese nationals who paid large sums for the promise of high-paying construction jobs on Saipan allege they suffered physical injuries while working at the Imperial Pacific International Casino Resort. The lawsuit was filed Monday in Saipan's district court against Gold Mantis Construction Decoration. The workers allege they suffered physical injuries while building the casino and were forced to work long hours below minimum wage under abusive and exploitive conditions. Among the injuries the workers say they suffered on the job are a badly burned leg, a scalded hand, and a partially severed finger. The lawsuit states that Golden Mantis not only refused to take the injured workers to the hospital, but threatened them with arrest if they sought medical attention on their own. When the FBI began investigating various contractors on the casino project in March of last year, the lawsuit states that Golden Mantis managers abandoned their workers, returned to China, leaving the workers unpaid, in inadequate housing, and without food and water. 32-year-old Jonathan Pangilinan entered a plea of guilty to manslaughter in Superior Court yesterday in the death of 35-year-old Benita Manglona. Pangilinan was originally charged with murder and aggravated assault. In the plea agreement, Pangilinan admitted to recklessly causing Manglona's death, but maintains he did not intend to kill him. Both men worked at the Atkins Kroll dealership in Tamuning when they got into a physical fight during a company party on March 24th. Manglona was knocked to the ground, striking his head, and was later pronounced dead at GMH. Under the terms of the agreement, the parties have agreed to recommend a sentence of between 3 and 15 years in jail and a fine of up to $10,000. We'll have more news after this.
Be merry, be bright, and make shopping all right with holiday gift cards from Ruby Tuesday. Buy a $25 or $50 gift card for those on your shopping list. Get a $15 bonus coupon with every $50 card purchase. Some extra holiday happiness from Ruby Tuesday. Be merry, be bright, and make shopping all right with holiday gift cards from Chuck E. Cheese's Guam. Get a free medium pizza with every $25 gift card purchase and a free extra large pizza with every $50 gift card purchase. Some extra holiday happiness from Chuck E. Cheese's Guam.
Are high power bills sending your budget into chaos? Take control with the help of Micronesia Renewable Energy. Using the highest quality panels, a solar energy system from MRE will guarantee to save you money on power. With MRE, Christmas comes early. With every solar energy system, homeowners not only get $400 for signing up, but also an entry for a chance to win $1,000 in cold, hard cash, just in time for Christmas. It pays to be an MRE customer. Conditions apply. Call 632-2613 for details. MRE, the smarter choice.
10 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. The federal receivership over Guam solid waste and trash collection services may have to be extended once again beyond the current December 31st deadline in order to allow enough time for a new general manager to take charge. The board will meet this morning and choose a new general manager from among 2 candidates interviewed for the job. However, no matter who is chosen, Guam Solid Waste Authority Board Chairman Andy Gale says he does not think the person chosen will be on island, fully briefed, and ready to take over until mid-February. Chief District Court Judge Francis Tadenko Gatewood will make the decision on whether to extend the receivership again, but Gale acknowledged it may be necessary. As the Guam Daily Post reported in September, Catherine Kikigi, the former finance manager at the Department of Administration, was hired locally as the new controller for GSWA. Kikigi replaced former controller Enrique Viñas, who resigned in July. The general manager position became vacant a month later when former general manager Greg Martin resigned. Yesterday, Tadenko Gatewood issued an order calling on the Guam Solid Waste Authority Board to file a report with the court next Tuesday advising her on the status of the management team and when the board expects its new management team will be ready to take over. The governor's office yesterday announcing that Guam Memorial Hospital anticipates receiving an additional $12 million in Medicare reimbursements for the years 2014 through 2017. The additional funding follows a review by the federal contractor who validates all Medicare claims. Their conclusion that an additional $12 million reimbursement is justified awaits final approval by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. GMH anticipates getting the funds in the first quarter of next year. Adjustments to the reimbursement amounts paid by CMS are available to hospitals that pursue such revisions as long as they can demonstrate they've met certain criteria. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with a look at weather.
Where I just had it in my hand. I just had the thing. It was just right there a second ago. And now it's gone. It's lost. It's raining outside. Is that? Can we just do that and say
not
that's
as
the weather?
much as yesterday evening? Actually, we've got scattered showers expected today, but this trade wind disturbance is pushing off to the west, and so things should start clearing out tonight and tomorrow. So we're looking for only partly cloudy skies and isolated showers from tomorrow in through the weekend. However, with the clearing and the remaining moisture hanging around in the air, tomorrow is going to be really hot. Heat index around 100, and looking at, just some
Is there
winds
grill
that are
marks?
gonna keep-
Is it a possibility of grill marks this weekend, do you think?
There will be a hazard of grill marks if you're not careful. Yeah, definitely the vinyl seat warning will be in effect.
All right, cloudy and breezy today, scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms, becoming partly cloudy tonight with isolated showers, winds out of the east up to 25 miles an hour, decreasing 15 to 20 this weekend. Highs in the upper 80s with a max afternoon heat index about 100 degrees tomorrow, lows about 77 degrees. Sunset tonight at 5:58, sunrise tomorrow morning, and we are now, I believe we are now, tonight is supposed to be the longest night of the year. Is that right?
The shortest.
Shortest?
Yes. Summer is the longest.
So shortest night of the year.
Shortest, yeah.
Are you sure?
Well, no, it's the longest night of the year. It's the shortest day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you confused.
Looking.
Most people
What?
don't think in terms of night, Ray.
Right.
You're the only one.
Well, no, because there's people that are throwing longest night parties.
I see.
For tonight, and I suppose the authorities ought to be aware of those kinds of things.
Well, you are indeed correct.
So longest night, but shortest day. It is the winter solstice, and I'm reading up here on USA Today, marking the longest night, fewest hours of daylight of the year, the precise moment at which the northern hemisphere is tilted farthest from the sun, and it will happen everywhere on the planet, including here on Guam at 8:32 a.m. tomorrow morning. That will be the winter solstice.
That's right.
And mark the shortest day of 2018.
Indeed.
And it happens every year.
It happens every single year. And guess what? In 6 months, we get to do the opposite. So.
Gotcha. Right. So we have the longest day and the shortest night. In addition, for some extra excitement, they say there is also a full moon and the Ursid meteor shower.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for something to do out there on the longest night of the year that doesn't involve significant partying, then you might want to go and find a promontory out someplace and where it's really dark. I mean, I like Nimitz Beach down in Agate, but there's a few other places even further down south. You got it into Inarahan and around the lower tip of the island, and that's a great place to start watching the light show.
Yeah, this particular meteor shower, one of the minor meteor showers, and it can't even compare to the one we had earlier this year. But look to the north, near the North Star. It's Ursid because it seems to originate from Ursa Major, which is the Big Bear.
Gotcha. And Ursa Major is also one of the easiest constellations out there to find.
Big
Quick
Dipper.
look at the weather radar. What can people expect? What kind of chopper are we in for the morning drive?
Yeah, things are looking still a bit scattered in terms of coverage out there, but that's better than the numerous we had yesterday evening. Woo! And as the day goes on, things should start to wane and wind down just a bit.
That was wild and woolly last night.
Yeah, it got around 3 o'clock. It really started to hit us.
And didn't stop for a long, long time. So we had one of those unified endurance runs last night. You know, everybody getting ready for the GIM, and there were just a small. I think there couldn't have been any more than about 5 of us going out because everybody thought it was raining and there wasn't going to be training. And the rule is, if it rains, we trains.
Yeah.
So get out there no matter what. And it was great up and down Marine Drive, and it just pouring rain. I don't remember sweating. It was that good. Okay, satellite imagery. Anything out there that we need to worry about, Guam? About in the middle of the screen.
Yeah. Once again, we can see the bulk of the blobage is far going off to our west now. A little bit still left back behind us, and some of that'll pull through again through the later morning hours and into this afternoon. And once that line to our east kind of goes away, that'll be pretty much the end of it for us and for the foreseeable future.
There it is. That's it. That's news and weather together on a Friday morning here on The Point, brought to you by Bank Pacific, where others put branches. They place roots.
Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Now you can start planning for the holidays by getting a personal Christmas loan from $1,000 up to $3,500. Family Finance has 3 convenient locations to serve you. Give them a call in Dededo, 633-4473, Hagåtña, 475-4545, and the Upper Tumon location on the 2nd floor of the Pacific Building at 647-5626. Get your Christmas loans today from Family Finance.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by King's, where they've still got the crazy holiday menu. I'm serious. They ought to keep some of this stuff on the menu just forever. Open-faced turkey sandwiches, crisp chicken ranch BLTs, Spam sandwiches, turkey sandwiches. And I love turkey. It's my favorite thing about this time of year is you get to eat a lot more turkey than you normally would. Roasted turkey piled on your choice of bread and served with French fries and a side of cranberry sauce because it's the holidays, and that's part of their crazy menu at King's.
It's important to have claims processed that that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
The No Grinches Allowed Friday morning Ray Gibson Show is brought to you by our friends over at Micronesia Renewable Energy. There's never been a better time to go solar. The guys over at American Water Tech, Smarter Water, Better Water, American President Lines, where they're shipping the future, and, of course, Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your open-heart surgical needs.
Good news, Guam. Now you can design a phone plan that suits your needs by switching to GTA's handset payment option. With HPO, you can take home a new smartphone today and pay it down over 12, 18, or 24 months. You decide. And since there's no contract, you can upgrade phones at any time. So stop waiting. Join the thousands already taking advantage of the most flexible phone plan on Guam. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply. GTA, your island, your network.
Something new at Wendy's. The Wendy's new artisan bread masterpiece. I love it when they bring out the cool bread. Bacon maple chicken sandwich. The new sandwich is made with hot, crispy, home-style chicken filet, fresh just like this one here, topped with Swiss cheese. What kind of noise would cheese make if it could? Apple wood, smoked bacon? It's a glorious morning, isn't it? Drizzled with a sweet and savory maple glacé, all between warm and fluffy croissant bun. The limited time sandwich available at this incredible time of the year. Stop by and try one today. At Wendy's, quality is their recipe.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
I hate to start off another morning with one of those, I can't believe it moments, but I'm having one of those I can't believe it moments. Here we are. It's the last Friday before Christmas, and there's only one more Friday between now and 2019. Where is it all going? It's happening so unbelievably fast. Welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse the mess. It is the Ray Gibson Show, and I would be Ray Gibson, name on the door here, but I don't do this alone. No, I've got people helping me out, buoying my lack of credentials, credibility, and talent. I've got guys like Michael Knight that answer the phone when you call at 888-8255. That's 888-TALK. There's a bunch of other different ways to get a hold of me, and I'll labor over those in just a little bit. Of course, Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post is here to highlight all the big stories that you'll find in the Guam Daily Post, get us all caught up on the things that we need to know for a Friday, the last Friday before it gets to be the holidays. And I'm delighted to note that Kevin apparently Christmased himself with a new pair of shoes. Got some hush puppies on there, buddy.
Desert boots.
Desert boots.
Yeah.
Isn't that great? I remember, it seemed like when we were kids, everybody had a pair of desert boots, right?
Right.
Yeah, and they're terrific. They go with just about everything. I was thinking about yesterday. And you'll remember him as well. And I don't know what caused it to pop into my head, but now that I see the desert boots that you're wearing, I'm remembering a guy named John Morvant. You remember John?
Of course.
Mad Dog Morvant, and a great journalist and a wonderful news director. And I thought just the sweatiest person that there ever was. You remember the guy? He'd stand outside for 5 minutes. He would sweat through those desert boots. Just an amazing, amazing human being. Anyway, so it's down to that. Have you Christmased yourself? Have you gone out and Christmased yourself or anything?
No, not
Nothing.
at all. Not a thing.
How about the cat? Did you Christmas the cat anything?
The cat's still living, so that's enough
a
Christmas
roof over
for
the head.
her,
There's
man.
food, and I've cleaned the litter box, and that's all the cat's going to
God
get.
Christmas the cat back in October. So
by putting that cat over at your house. Remind me, there's this story I've been looking at and looking for an excuse to read, and that might have been it. That conversation there might have been it. No doubt, when it gets to be New Year's, there's going to be fireworks shows. We should probably already start thinking about that.
See, I'm just
what?
Man, I've spent 5 New Years in the Philippines.
Oh.
It's just not even close.
No?
I'm sorry. I go to sleep. I don't even bother.
There's that, right? Yeah. There's that. So we get, put up a 20-minute show here, 15-minute show over there. And, I know what you mean. I want to say, 4th of July. I remember it was the 4th of July one year, and I was at the Space Needle in Washington State. And that, well, you better believe that was an incredible fireworks show that they put up there. So, even as good as we like to think we're getting here on Guam, it pales in comparison to the way that other people do these shows. And it might be a $50,000, $60,000 show that is going on, but you go to other places and it's up in $500,000 worth of fun. You get tired of looking at it. You get tired. There was a time though, and you gotta be from kind of the old school around here. I want to say one of my favorite fireworks show, and they did it every night for a little bit, was when they did the grand opening of the Pacific Star Hotel back in the 1980s. Oh, nice. And they had to, because there was such a large crowd that was coming in. I mean, this was a huge deal when they first opened the doors on that hotel. They brought in literally all of the residents of Nauru came in for the grand opening. So they had their own grand opening celebration, complete with fireworks, and then start moving, calling in all the dignitaries, the big shots, movers, and shakers from around the community. And there were so many of them that they had to do that over a couple of nights as well. And in fact, I'll bet you Carlotta Leon Guerrero is listening to the program right now, and I want to say that she was part of that coordinating masterpiece that was the grand opening. But one of the reasons why it was about my favorite fireworks show ever was because they went with a gold theme. Ooh. So most, if not all, of the fireworks were shimmering, shiny, kind of gold colored.
Very nice.
And it was, and they went for a long time. And as I said, it was one of those where you just got tired of watching. And I thought that was pretty cool. Hope you never get tired of watching or listening to the program. Remind me later on to talk about the noise-canceling doghouse. And that's why I was talking about fireworks, because there are dog owners that are out there that are very, very concerned about, being close to some of the fireworks and the big noises that come up on New Year's, because it scares the hell out of their dogs.
Yeah, our pets are not real fond of them.
No. And so Ford has taken all of the technology that they use to mask noises on the road and have applied that in a doghouse that you might be able to buy before too much longer for your dog, so it doesn't get scared during the second coming and when we have those big fireworks shows. 6:25. Let's go find out what.
It's a perfect gift for husbands who can't stay out of trouble.
Does it come with the cooler? Is there a bar? Hey, good morning, Ken Duenas and others.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
There it is. Like I said, Ken Duenas up early this morning in the Facebook Live. Ismael is there. Joe Blas saying, good morning, everybody. Margaret Blas with a good afternoon from amazing Arizona. Dave Duenas with his morning buenas. Mark Cruz is waving at everybody. Hoik from Nick Perlosky. Robert Ellsworth noting, woohoo, it's Friday. We made it. And this time next week, it'll be, woo, it's Friday. We made it through the year. Most of us survived 2018. Sure, lots of stuff got broken, but what the heck? John Sinicholas, and he's doing the Christmas countdown. Here it is by his numbers, his reckoning. 3 days, 17 hours, 54-ish minutes until it gets to be Christmas of 2018. Oh, Vixen. Oh, Donner. Lynn Vince Borja Polino says, good morning. My goodness, it's Friday. Lynn, are you playing tomorrow night over at Roots? You and the band got that gig tomorrow night. John Ray Taitano says, Biba Bitness. Dennis Ben-Sur is there. Andy Tidenko, Francis Salas, Darlene Blas, whose father is a no-kidding war hero. Give him a hug for me, would you? Felix Rages, Keith Parsky in Washington, D.C. Shelley Gibson saying, morning. It's still dark outside. Happy Friday to everybody. And like we say, shortest day of the year tomorrow, and we are into the winter solstice. So that means, you know, we've been having these long nights, and the longest night of the year is going to be taking place tonight, along with the full moon and a meteor shower out there. Do you suppose that it could bring out the crazy in the not that there is a lack of crazy going on right now. We just headlines and headlines all week long about some serious crazy that we've got around here. But do you think it'll get even crazier tonight with that longest night and the full moon that's out there?
Yeah, well, you know, if anything's possible. Full moons do tend to affect certain people.
I hear. Now, will there be any hippie white witch dancing in the moonlight somewhere?
Absolutely.
That you know?
Yeah, somewhere there will have to be. You know, you always have to have it on the solstice and the equinox.
So here's if there's any white witches out there that are listening that would like to get a little bit of publicity, 888-8255. Would like to know where all of that crazy dancing is going to be taking place in the moonlight with the herbs and homemade wine or something like that.
The dark witches throw a better party.
The dark witches, I'm sure, would throw a much better party. Juanita Monti is there. Lynn Paris, good morning. Charlene Marcia, Mers Greeno, Lillian Cruz saying TGIF, Ray, Kevin, and Michael. Absolutely. Matt Cruz, Vicky Ganashis Borja, Rita Hugo, Annette Unpinko Addis. Are you still on Guam? Nice to see your name there. Renee and Pat Taitigui. Marcus Reynolds, good morning, General. Nice to see you there. Anita Muffness with her Valentine's eyes. Brad Hewitt, who may or may not get into another running skirmish with Simon Sanchez on the Facebook Live this morning. We'll have to watch and see. Vivian Leon, Adonis Quito Mendiola. Morning Guam. Thank you, Marine. And who else? Full moon and many meteor showers. I don't know. You know, I'd mentioned that, and Mike said maybe not as big as it was, say, last weekend with the Geminids. This is the Ursids.
Yeah, the Ursids is one of the minor showers.
So you have the Geminids. It's named after a couple of Greek goddesses, Gemini and Ursid. Now, Gemini would be the hot, foxy sister, and Ursid would be the ugly one.
Of course.
So we're moving into the ugly meteor showers here today.
The other thing
completely made that up.
No, but it was good. The other thing to note is full moons make meteor viewing a little more difficult because full moons bring light to the atmosphere, and you need dark skies to see, especially these meteors.
So maybe it really is it's going to be a good show tonight, but you won't know because you won't be able to see them because
in a lot of ways,
so bright.
yeah, that's in a lot of cases.
Well, let some air out of the moon. Reach up, do it. Rico Blancaflor is on. Oh, what a night hangover, Shelley says. What a show. Dancing on the back patio and chanting dust and candle burning going on with that particular white witch. Oh, what a night hangover. They had, I guess, the first night of Tom Shea's big party happening last night. Rico Blancaflor and Shelley saying hi, Rita, to everybody. I didn't make it to that. You know what? And I feel bad because I didn't make it to the Phillips Bradalio party. First time in a lot of years that I haven't made it to that. First, probably because it was at night, and after the whole running in the rain thing last night, I didn't. I thought maybe it would be better if I
You just wanted fried chicken.
Yeah. So I'm sorry I didn't make it to that. I'm sure it was a wonderful time, and I'm sure there are people that are nursing their oh, what a night, and oh, what a Mike Phillips Christmas party hangovers going on right now. So I'll talk really loud. How's that? You think? 6:30. Program note today. It is going to be an unstoppable train of beauty and brains on this program. A little bit later on, Benita Manglona. If everything worked out with the scheduling that Oya was going to take care of yesterday, Benita Manglona, among our favorite CFOs, is going to be in the studio this morning, hopefully shedding a little bit of light on about $12 million that between her and Governor Calvo, et cetera, on the waning days of this Calvo-Tenorio administration, are able to find for Guam Memorial Hospital. How'd they do it? Where's the money going to be going? If you're a vendor of Guam Memorial Hospital, might be an interesting conversation for you. Rene Logie going to be doing, as far as I know, the last of the subbing for Blake Watson sports reports, and we just have a terrific time with her in the last bunch of days, 7 whole days. I think today is the 7th day, and a lot of actual work to be done today because it's football.
That's right.
We're going into a big football weekend. No Friday game though, huh?
No Friday game today.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So we don't have a Friday game, but we got a full slate of other big games that are going to be taking place, and she and Mike will take us through that. Also, Jane Dia from the Department of Agriculture, the Pig Hunting Derby. We'll talk about the results of the Derby and what's going to be happening next, and maybe an opportunity for you to go and if you're looking for something. If you're looking for something that to Christmas yourself with, maybe go out and get yourself a gun, a big hunting rifle, and a blaze orange shirt and hat, because you might need those for a couple of classes that they've got coming up that I'm going to try to get some information on here this morning. And Jessica Marati. I'm not even going to try to say her last name. Jackie's daughter is in town, and she's going to be doing something with the government and talking about and businesses talking about sustainability. There it is. The from ideas to impact, how to build sustainability into your business. This is going to be taking place at well, we'll get you more details on it. But Jessica Marati Radparvar, the founder of Reconsidered, is in town and is going to be on the radio talking about that with me in a little bit. At any rate, 6:33 in the morning, 888-8255. We'll break away for headlines. Come back with some more riffing and ranting in a second.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, staff and parents of students at Ocean View Middle School are asking members of the Guam Board of Education to change school policies in light of recent threats made by a student at the school. At a Tuesday evening meeting, Carol Hinkle Sanchez, who's a deputy Guam Attorney General and has 2 children at the school, revealed that the student in question had threatened to bring a gun to campus and shoot people. Guam DOE has allowed the student to remain in the school despite a recommendation from school officials that the student should be expelled. Hinkle Sanchez, in tears, told the board she knows what the rules are. She said, "If you don't read your board policy," she said, "I'll read it to you. If the student threatens or attacks another student on campus, that requires expulsion for 1 year," she said. Another mother of 2 students at Ocean View, Patricia Duenas, said she didn't send her sons to school Wednesday because she was concerned for their safety. Other parents said they had serious reservations about allowing their children to go to the school as well. Following the concerns expressed by parents at Tuesday night's PTO meeting, DOE Superintendent John Fernandez ordered additional security support at the school and ordered the development of a new safety plan for Ocean View. A former United Airlines flight attendant has filed a lawsuit against the airline alleging age discrimination and violations of the Americans with Disabilities Act. 62-year-old Susanna Cato was fired by the airline, where she worked for nearly 40 years. Cato was diagnosed with a serious medical condition back in 2013 that required her to take extended medical leave. At the time, Cato's union agreement allowed up to 6 years of medical leave. While she was on leave, a new bargaining agreement came into effect that shortened that time to just 3 years. In October of 2016, Cato got notice to come back to work or she'd be fired. She did go back to work, but soon experienced health complications again, went back on leave, and then was terminated. The lawsuit seeks double damages under the Age Discrimination in Employment Act. President Donald Trump's decision to declare the day before Christmas a federal holiday does not apply to the U.S. Postal Service, according to Guam Postmaster Tammy Shonen. She said mail delivery will continue as usual on Monday. Retail services at the post offices in Agana, Tamuning, and Barrigada will be available until noon, and package pickup windows at the Barrigada Post Office will be open until 5. 3:30 at the Tamuning Post Office, and 4 in the afternoon at the Agana location. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
That might have been the best news that you delivered here in the morning, is that the post office is going to be working on the federal holiday that the president is lined up on Monday for most other federal employees. Critical job that needs to get done, and stuff that needs to get mailed out, and stuff that needs to get picked up. I hope that they've got a great line system going at all the different locations of the post office. Tammy knows how to do all that stuff. 6:36 in the morning. I connect Connect is giving away a vacation for two to Manila with a stay at the new Holiday Inn Express in their Connect and Win giveaway. Sign up for a 12-month plan and you're automatically entered. 'Tis the season for winning with iConnect. Go to iConnectGuam.com for details.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
So I'm checking on something, not like I know anything about it, but my buddy, let me see, Marcus has reminded me. In addition to the big football games that are getting played in the NFL, there is today some football. Marshall plays South Florida in a bowl game today at 11 o'clock. Do you know anything about that, Mike? Any ideas? Who is Marshall? I don't know anybody named Marshall.
No, I don't either. That made a good movie about them, I think.
So Marshall plays South Florida in a bowl game today at 11 o'clock. So I'll look up in the Wikipedias about the 2018 NCAA football bowl games that are going to be taking place between here and early January.
All right.
Yeah.
Should be plenty.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm doing it.
I don't follow college myself because, it's like I didn't go, so
I don't know anybody. Like I said, I don't know anybody named Marshall, but good luck to you. 6:38 in the morning. Go ahead and start the music all over again if we're capable of doing that here, so I can line up the traffic properly. It's always nice to surprise the producer, isn't it? It's the best. 6:38 in the morning, and here it is. Right now, traffic on the point. Can't do it? Okay, fine. There's nothing happening. I'm looking at the roadways. Just a note here, be careful out there. There's still a lot of wetness from rains last night, early morning showers, even the dew point that I think we might have gotten to this morning. So watch out for the wet road conditions. Don't see too much happening right now. Southbound traffic, Marine Corps Drive, from the Kmart intersection down to the intersection over at the airport road. Looks like it's a little bit busier down there. Traffic's still moving at the regular rate, just a few more cars than normal. Don't see anything down in Sumai, Navy Hospital, Route 10, Route 4, Route 1, all the way up to the front gate of Anderson Air Force Base. Should be clear. So enjoy the drive and arrive alive. 6:39, that's right now.
Welcome
traffic.
to the annual holiday swap. Harold, you first.
Oh, it's a Subway card.
Wow. Nice. Sharon?
I'm going to take the Subway card.
Oh, Harold, now you can choose a new gift.
I think I'll just take that Subway card right back.
Okay.
I don't think you can do that, Harold. Stuff it, Glenn. This is between me and Sharon.
A Subway card is the gotta-have-it gift. With cards from $5 up to any amount, you'll give a gift and get a gift, too. Get a free 40-ounce fountain drink with a $20 load, or get a free regular 6-inch sub with a $30 load on any Subway card. Subway, make it what you want at participating restaurants.
The Ray Gibson Show. News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. Turn it up. Now tell a friend.
Well, I certainly appreciate the attempt at it. As a daily basis, try to get to as much media as I possibly can. Here we got the Guam Daily Post, which is always the first read that I get my hands on, and then I take a look at the PDN and see what they're going on. And I appreciate them trying to be helpful with this. A look at what's open and closed Christmas Eve and Christmas, and they're talking about Christmas Eve. Their office is going to be open. Government of Guam is open. Schools closed. Federal government closed. It says U.S. Post Office is closed, but as we just pointed out, that's not the case. There will be postal services available on Christmas Eve on Guam, correct?
Correct, and they have updated that.
Oh, not in the one that I printed out just a little bit ago. All right. Mass transit services should be available. Most banks are open, but they expect them to close early. Now that is important, vital information. I will say thank you very much for everybody that slaved over the hot word processors to get all that information out to us. But that didn't necessarily help panic shoppers, panic buyers like me. What we need to know on Christmas Eve is what time are the stores opening? And when I say stores, I mean again, your shopping center, Hulali in a pinch, the Guam Premium Outlets, and the guys over at Kmart. Heck, I may even be in enough of panic shopping mode to try to figure out what time duty free is going to be opening, because it might be the only place left where I don't think there's going to be a massive and gigantic crowd. May actually be one of the places left where there may actually be some degree of merchandise, some inventory that you might be able to buy. So that's the important stuff, and we'll see if we can get a hold of some of the guys in the mall game here in the next couple of hours to find out what their working hours are going to be. And will anybody be open on Christmas Day? Will anybody be open on Christmas Day? There was a time where you get days like Christmas and Thanksgiving, and those were sacrosanct. We didn't open at all because it was for church and family and worship and prayer. And then somebody said, but don't forget we got Black Friday. And there was a time, you'll recall, where Black Friday actually started early on Friday morning. And then a lot of businesses said, you know what, why don't we go ahead and open up on Thanksgiving for a little bit? And so it now is just another kind of retail year for a lot of people. So I'm wondering if there's anybody, besides the gas stations and the mom and pop places that are going to be open on Christmas Day for you to help out. One of the other ones, anybody from Payless listening, Cousin Mike, maybe a ring to find out what the deal is going to be for Payless, because no doubt there are going to be people that are going to line up a turkey or a ham or pies or whatever it is going to be for their Christmas celebration that forgot something essential like the turkey, the ham, the pie fixins, and all of that stuff. All of the things they don't sell at the mom and pop stores. 6:43 in the morning, and just another quick look at Facebook Live. Rod Rose is there. Sahara Defensor. Hope you're coming home for the holidays. Former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez saying, good morning, everybody, and he's showing the finger. We're all still the one. How about that? Nice to see Pete Guerrero online, Bob and Connie Bartonico. Albert Eliason, Nate Horn is tuned in on the Facebook Live. There's Cousin Ted from the village, Joseph Lea Selangi, Vince Manglona, and Vicente. I've got Benita Manglona is going to be on the studio in a little bit. Denise Legaspi, that's Lady D up in Jigo, listening to the chickens make noise. Dora Marie Ferger and Jeff Ojeda, John Bagaforo, Bob Lizama, and a whole bunch of other people that I can't see because they're not necessarily watching on Facebook Live. I keep track of some of the numbers of viewers on YouTube Live, where you can also catch the program. If you follow me on YouTube Live, you'll get a note in your messenger or whatever your app is that tells you what I'm doing here at the radio station. 888-8255-888-TALK is the telephone number, and we'll see what kind of news and information and fun stuff we might be able to scare up here in the next couple of days. As I said, Benita Manglona going to be in the studio talking about $12 million that ought to be coming in from the folks over at the CMS. I guess they've been able to go back in and explain to them that there are issues with their compensation, even at the low compensation rate that we get, that could fatten their account by about $12 million. Dr. Vince Akimoto, what do I need to include in that conversation with Benita?
Well, maybe a thank you. I mean, it sounds like Ms. Manglona and Governor Calvo and the rest of the folks, even though they're, I guess, lame duck, have been working hard to try to get some money for the hospital. It's obviously going to be very critical because the hospital's situation never got better, even after they rolled the hearse away from the front of the Guam legislature a couple of months ago.
Right.
I think the hospital situation for anybody who's been in there in the last couple of days is still critical. The beds are full. There are people in the emergency room who have been waiting for ICU beds for days. Apparently both GRMC and GMH have been diverting patients away from their emergency rooms because of the lack of resources So since Thanksgiving, this island has been going through a medical crisis that apparently, again, the only people that care about it are the ones that are needing the services. But I hope that perhaps your listeners will be lucky enough not to have to need a hospital anytime soon. Because I think Benita's presentation this morning is going to be about the fact that the $12 million is going to come in the next couple of months.
Well, and they've got their fingers crossed. As I understand it, they're also anticipating another 12 or so from other reimbursement relooks, I guess, that they have asked for that go back, a decade and a half between Guam Memorial Hospital and CMS. So you keep your fingers crossed that there might be some additional monies that come in, and the money would probably go out fairly quickly to the payables at GMH, according to a story that I read. Their payables, again, are close to about 12, 13, 14, $15 million. So people that are waiting for some kind of payment from Guam Memorial Hospital may actually see them. But I'm interested in what you were talking about, and I want to make sure that gets out there, is that all of the emergency rooms on Guam seem to be inundated these days? Is this a new normal?
Yeah. Well, I think you've lived here long enough on Guam to know that this is not news anymore, because obviously the dog is simply biting the man.
Well, yeah, but no. But you were saying that there's a shortage of ICU beds, but what about the rest of it? I mean, in the last 10 years, we've seen, and certainly your place is one of them, we've seen, a surge in the number of urgent care facilities that people can go to when, they're hurting, they're feeling bad, but they don't necessarily need the emergency room. We're not, in the clutches of a heart attack or something.
Right, and those resources have been, I think, very helpful in being able to keep people out of the hospital. But people are getting sick. Some people actually need to be in the hospital, and I don't know if you noticed, but the people on Guam seem to be getting older. I mean, there was a time when dying at 50 seemed to be everybody's fate in life, but we've recently buried this year a bunch of 90-year-olds. So, I mean, people are getting older, and folks are living well into their 80s. But when they get sick in their 80s, if they get pneumonia, they're going into the hospital. I mean, there's no doubt that I think healthcare on Guam is improving. But one reality is that there are some serious sicknesses for which modern medicine requires a hospital. And so although we feel at American Medical Center that we're doing a good job, we're not necessarily going to be able to keep everybody out of the hospital. And when the hospital's full and we can't get critically ill people in who we've been trying to keep out, that's bad news, because these folks are usually folks who wouldn't go there unless they absolutely have to. But I think since you're going to have Benita in studio, she could speak, I think, more acutely to what exactly the financial problems are at the hospital today, December 21st. I mean, all her solutions are going to be at least 21 days from now, which at that point she won't have much control over. But today she has complete control over the accounts payables, the realities of vendors who may not be sending us our medicines because we're on hold, the possibility that there are already acute shortages within the hospital because of the lack of payment for several months. There was a surgery group that had decided to walk away. The allegation is that this is not meaningful, that there may be other people who will pick up the slack. But, the hospital that we're talking about...
Back up on this surgery group here. That's another line I don't want glossed over. Now, I'm told that there were a number of surgeons that will maintain their privileges at Guam Memorial Hospital, but won't necessarily be working there.
Well, they won't be on call at the beck or call of the hospital, so they can't expect them then not to be drinking alcohol on any particular night or going to a Christmas party and then therefore not being available to somebody in a car accident. The purpose of being on call is that you're ready. It's like the firemen guys. They drink too, believe it or not, but on the days that they're working, they're not supposed to be, and they're supposed to be ready to save lives. So the doctors have that same obligation when they're on duty. Their lives are the hospital. But apparently the hospital's had some problems, and I suspect it had something to do with finances, but no one's really said anything. A lot of problems have happened since all the drama where they raised taxes on us supposedly to help the hospital. But I'm here to tell you, and Benita will be coming in soon to tell you, it did not help the hospital. The hospital did not get better after all that soap opera. And so, I have been raising the alarm because I think it's my personal responsibility to warn everybody, including my patients, not to go to the hospital if you can at all help it. And you can help us by maybe badgering your politicians today to help the hospital now, whatever they can do today. The $12 million or $24 million in the next couple of months, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Not to take away from it. I'm not going to, but that's like getting your Christmas present in Easter. So Merry Christmas, you'll get your Christmas present down in April or, something like that.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I don't necessarily want to stare that gift horse in the mouth, but there are other resources other than the additional taxes that were supposed to be going to Guam Memorial Hospital. What about all that gaming money?
You're going beyond my pay grade. I'm a country doctor. I was really more fascinated, and the reason I was calling yesterday to try to bother you, I know you had important things to talk about, but I really thought the legislature the night before had really revealed to us that where there's a will, there's a way. I mean, they will go through. God bless our sitting senators right now. There is nothing they won't do for a good cause. There is nothing they won't say. There is no amount of time they won't spend. I mean, they were working late into the evening this week when they could have been Christmas shopping. I'm sure they missed some important family events, but they were there to ensure that apparently justice was served, and that people who apparently the government of Guam doesn't even owe money to will probably get some sort of wonderful legislative subsidy through the magic of modern lawmaking.
Are you talking about a certain qualifying certificate?
No, I'm talking about, apparently the Guam legislature is able to reach back into the past, find past due bills where companies have alleged that they're owed millions of dollars, kind of like our medical vendors. People who are saying, hey, look, you owe me money from like 5 years ago. And Benita's had to tell them, look, I can't pay you for 5 years ago. I can pay you for like 5 months ago. But we can only pay you within the budget. I mean, you can ask her that question. I mean, have they caught up on billings from 10 years ago? Have they caught up on billings from even last year? Because every budget year they throw away bills and say, well, that's a past year obligation and we only have a budget for this year's obligation. Now, they're autonomous agencies, so maybe I'm getting this all wrong. I'm glad Benita will be in studio.
Well, I'll find out. We'll find out about 7:35 after the headlines when she gets in here. She's actually online right now on Facebook Live, so she can hear what you're saying, and we'll be prepared perhaps with some of those numbers when we get in here. We'll applaud the money that they're able to get from Medicare, and then see where we have been in her time as a CFO, and what problems she's been able to solve, and of course what problems are going to be going to the next person that the board appoints.
Yeah, the real question is, are we in a state of emergency, and should the governor be releasing funding now? I mean, apparently he has access to $250,000 a month or something like that to be able to pay bills that are necessary now. Who knows? Maybe he did it already and no one didn't tell us. Because no one told us.
No, if there was a declaration of emergency, we would have known and we would have told you about it. And that sounds very much like something that Lou Leon Guerrero was harping on Eddie for just a few short months ago when we were having these problems, and it was Gov, click your heels together and issue at least a declaration of an emergency, which everybody thought that we were in, and it didn't happen. And now come to find out, well, we're not really in a fiscal crisis anymore. Everything is okay. We're all hunky dory.
They raised my taxes. Why did I get a 5% GRT? Why?
Because
why are all the problems on Guam happening? I mean, we have a legislature that apparently thinks its most important job on its last day in office is to go out and make someone's dreams come true. I mean, is this the worst?
Well, if you're talking about the cocoa recycling bill, that did not pass, and there is still time, I think, for the governor to stand.
Sure tried.
Boy, they sure tried. Yeah, it sure looked like they were going for it, and they couldn't find anybody else besides some of the movers of the bill to say that it was worth anything. Everybody they talked to said, nah, there's nothing there. Don't bother trying it.
That was the chairman of the healthcare committee, the guy who was supposed to be controlling the purse strings for medicine on Guam, Dennis Rodriguez, who was trying to steal money from the general fund away from the Guam Memorial Hospital. He wouldn't help get the renovations for the OB ward done. That cost $9 million. He couldn't find that money. He wouldn't help Benita Manglona pay some past due bills. I mean, that's going to probably cost not $12 or $14 million. And again, it would be really nice to know what the exact number is that Benita acknowledges vendors are clamoring for this Christmas.
And like I said, I think that based on a story I read, somewhere between $13 and $15 million. We'll see how close we can get to it.
That was my story. I just made that up.
No, it's written down somewhere else.
No, Benita mentioned it the other day.
Yeah,
they're back up to 13, 14 million.
13, 14 million. It's in the post. Hey, dude, I gotta let you run. I'll talk to you pretty soon. You're getting all excited now.
Bye.
All right, Merry Christmas to you and Melissa and the kids here. Albert Eliason said he'd never been paid for billing submitted during Carl Gutierrez's term. Gov Guam says we don't pay previous year obligations with current year funds. Unless you can get 8 people over at the legislature. Yeah, that's what they were trying to do with the cocoa recyclement deal, and thankfully, inquiring minds were able to get to that, and they couldn't find anybody that said that nail needed to be hit with anything other than no hammer. So thankfully, the taxpayers aren't going to be holding the bag on what is it, $5.5–6 million worth of these owed monies. That was a quirky twist of fate over at the legislature, and what you got to imagine at the legislature. You take a look at some of the bills that have come out of there, and my personal feeling is everything in the last month or so seems to be some kind of a sweep it under the rug motion that they've got, as though if it were authorized by the legislature, that makes it okay. And there's a strange story along those very same lines. The Chamorro Land Trust Commission lifting their self-imposed moratorium. They met for a regular board meeting. Paul Rosario, who's been living on Chamorro Land Trust land since the 1980s, came before the commissioners to ask for authorization for utilities. Anybody goes GPA, GWA knows they're going to ask you if you've got some kind of clear link to that property. And through a review, the commission found that Rosario was never given a lease for the property he's been staying on in Dededo, though his family has been living there. So what's the fix? He doesn't have a lease on the property. He wants to get utilities on the property. Arguably, there's been some improvements that have been made there. GPA will not hook up power to the house without authorization from the CLTC and a valid lease. The guy's been living there since the 80s with no written link to the property. And so what do they do about it? What did they do, that Gibson guy, a couple of weeks ago? They made a move, right?
Yeah, he was forced out, but that was some years ago.
Yeah. And in this case, we've got somebody that has no lease. I mean, at least Gibson was married to somebody with a lease.
Right.
But this guy apparently has no lease, and so what are they doing over at the commission? They were ultimately moved to approve Rosario's lease so that he can move forward with getting power to his property. They approved the lease for the half-acre portion he's been residing on and asked staff to work on a map to prepare a lease for him. Now, I'm sure Paul's a nice guy, but this is just another example of we'll find a way to bend the rules so that it gets the squeaky wheel all unsqueaky here, despite the fact that there are others who might like to have a shot at some land property, some Chamorro Land Trust land, and a lease that they have applied for and are working through, but can't because, rules. 659 and change. 888-8255. Keep that number handy. Benita Manglona, CFO of the Guam Memorial Hospital, in the next hour. We've also got to look at what's happening with the markets. It's not good. Look the other way completely. And news from Kevin Kerrigan in the Guam Daily Post. We're KUSG. Hagatnya. Stand by for the latest from Fox News Live.
This is a Fox News alert. A shutdown showdown. I'm Lisa Brady.
In life, there are certain principles worth fighting for, principles that are more important than politics, party, or personal convenience.
President Trump moments ago renewing his fight for a border wall.
It's all about America first. We have to put our country first. We have to put our people first. And we have to put safety first.
This after telling House Republicans he will not sign a bill designed to avoid a partial government shutdown by extending current funding.
The Senate approved a short-term spending bill last night, sending funding into February, but offering no new money for a border wall. House Republicans are now crafting a plan that would add $5 billion in border funding, along with disaster assistance. It's unclear if that proposal has enough support in the House, and Senate approval is even less likely.
Fox's Jared Halpern on Capitol Hill. Democrats are digging in, too.
Trump's allies in the House can pound their fists on the table all they want. but it's not going to get a wall.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. Meantime, the House has dozens of members missing, already home to make way for new members coming in just a few weeks. The House GOP team said to be working on possibly trying to fly some back to D.C. as quickly as possible. A sell-off again on Wall Street. The Dow down 468 points, dropping under 23K, but it could have been worse. It was down more than 600 during the session.
People down here are very angry at the Federal Reserve. Don't like those 2 to 3 hikes for next year, interest rate hikes for next year. They're very angry about that. And the fact that Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, said, hey, you guys are overreacting, that didn't go over so well either down here.
Fox Business Network's Jerry Willis at the New York Stock Exchange. The Dow drops about 2% on the day. This is Fox News.
Be merry, be bright, and make shopping all right with holiday gift cards from King's Restaurants. Give a gift they are sure to love. Delicious food and friendly fun at King's. Get a coupon for a free single crepe with every $20 gift card purchase. Extra holiday happiness from King's Restaurants. Be merry, be bright, and make shopping all right with holiday gift cards from Chuck E. Cheese's Guam, Ruby Tuesday, and King's Restaurants. Receive special offers with every purchase for extra holiday happiness. See stores for details and have fun this season from all of us at the GFS Group.
Boldly styled, meticulously refined. The 2019 ES350 features a longer, wider stance and a sleek coupe-like silhouette inherited from the flagship LS. The ES350 offers an ultimate level of comfort, while cutting-edge engineering delivers a thrilling drive. Visit the Lexus showroom today at Atkins Kroll during the December to Remember sales event. Drive home a 2019 ES350 for 0 down and 1.99% APR for 60 months. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details. Experience amazing.
The president's comments moments ago about renewing the fight for border wall funding came during a signing ceremony for the Farm Bill, which he praised as a bipartisan effort. But there is some controversy there, too.
Tighter work requirements may be coming for millions of Americans who receive food stamps. The Agriculture Department is proposing a new rule that strips the ability of states to issue work requirement waivers unless a city or county has an unemployment rate of 7% or higher. Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue says the rule will save taxpayers billions of dollars. Democratic Senator Debbie Stabenow released a statement saying the regulation blatantly ignores the bipartisan Farm Bill, adding she expects legal challenges. In Washington, Rachel Sutherland, Fox News.
As General Motors continues with its restructuring plan that could cost thousands of jobs and close several plants, a union in Canada says the company has agreed to respond to Canadian union proposals to try to keep an Ontario auto assembly plant open. The company due to respond by January 7th. The case against Harvey Weinstein will move forward in New York.
It didn't take long for Judge James Burke to tell both sides that he was not dismissing the indictment against Harvey Weinstein in a Manhattan courtroom today. There was some chatting between Weinstein's attorney, the prosecutor, and the judge, and that was it. But the proceeding was notable because of who showed up to watch. A long row of actresses and Time's Up supporters were in the courtroom, including Marisa Tomei and Kathy Najimy. Weinstein is charged with raping one woman in a hotel room in 2013 and sexually assaulting another in 2006 at his apartment in Manhattan. The judge set a pretrial hearing date for March 7th. In New York City, Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Recapping the latest sell-off on Wall Street after yesterday's Fed-driven drop shut down government fears. Helping to fuel today's sell-off, the Dow down 464. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Welcome to the annual holiday swap. Harold, you first.
Oh, it's a Subway card.
Wow.
Nice. Sharon?
I'm going to take the Subway card.
Oh, Harold, now you can choose a new gift.
I think I'll just take that Subway card right back. I don't think you can do that, Harold. Stuff it, Glenn. This is between me and Sharon.
A Subway card is the gotta-have-it gift. With cards from $5 up to any amount, you'll give a gift and get a gift, too. Get a free 40-ounce fountain drink with a $20 load, or get a free regular 6-inch sub with a $30 load on any Subway card. Subway, make it what you want at participating restaurants.
Bring joy to your world and your budget with a holiday loan from First Hawaiian Bank. At a low 4.99% APR, fixed for 1 year, it's a smart way to add ho-ho-ho without budget uh-oh. To apply for a holiday loan, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or FHB.com. For more information, call 1-877-640-2337. Additional restrictions apply. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Half a day. This is Maria Lamsit and Kayla Ramos, Vice President and Secretary of the Simon Sanchez High School Senior Class of 2019.
And we're inviting you to support our race to graduation in our annual Run with the Sharks 5K on December 22nd.
Join us at the Simon Sanchez campus for raffle prizes, shirts, and all-around Shark spirit. Go time is at 6 a.m.
Pre-registration is available at the main office and on race day. Call 489-8917 or 8172 for more information.
Thank you for all your support. From Simon Sanchez High School graduating class of 2019.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
Cheers to 80 years. It's our 80th anniversary and the gifts are on us. 80 gift certificates, 8 shopping sprees, 8 staycations, and 1 round-trip flyaway for 2 to Manila. So how do you enter? Calvo's Insurance personal home and auto customers are automatically entered. Non-Calvo's customers may enter by receiving a qualified quote. It's our way of saying thank you for trusting us for the past 80 years. For more details, visit calvos.com/giveaway or call 472-6816. Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 7 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The Guam Department of Education has not revealed what threat was made by an Ocean View Middle School student, but a parent has. During a school board meeting on Wednesday night, Carol Hinkle Sanchez, who has 2 children at the school, said the student in question threatened to bring a gun to campus and shoot people. Administrators have allowed the student to remain in school despite a recommendation from school officials that the student be expelled. Besides being a mother of students at the school, Hinkle Sanchez also happens to be a deputy Guam Attorney General. She told the board Wednesday she knows what the rules are, and in tears, she said, "If you don't read your board policies, I'll read it for you. If a student threatens or attacks another student on campus, that requires expulsion for 1 year," she said. DOE Superintendent John Fernandez has ordered additional security and the development of a new safety plan for Ocean View Middle School. The federal receivership over Guam's solid waste and trash collection services may have to be extended once again beyond the current December 31st date in order to allow enough time for a new general manager to take charge. The board will meet this morning and choose a new general manager from among 2 candidates interviewed for the job. However, no matter who is chosen, Guam Solid Waste Authority Board Chairman Andy Gale says he does not think the person chosen will be on island fully briefed and ready to take over until mid-February. Chief District Court Judge Francis Tenenko Gatewood will make the decision on whether to extend the receivership once again, but Gale acknowledged it may be necessary. As the Guam Daily Post reported in September, Catherine Kikigi, the former finance manager at the Department of Administration, was hired as the new controller for GSWA. Kikigi replaced former controller Enrique Viñas, who resigned in July. The general manager position became vacant a month later when former general manager Greg Martin also resigned. Yesterday, Judge Gatewood issued an order calling on the board to file a report with the court next Tuesday advising her on the status of the management team and when the GSWA board anticipates its new management team will be ready to take over. We'll have more news after this.
Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Now you can start planning for the holidays by getting a personal Christmas loan from $1,000 up to $3,500. Family Finance has 3 convenient locations to serve you. Give them a call in Dededo, 633-4473, Hagåtña, 475-4545, and the Upper Tumon location on the 2nd floor of the Pacific Building at 647-5626. Get your Christmas loans today from Family Finance.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local inspired breakfast. AM loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
News time here at The Point is 11 minutes past 7 a.m. In Superior Court yesterday, 32-year-old Jonathan Pangilinan entered a plea of guilty to a charge of manslaughter in the death of 35-year-old Benita Manglona. Pangilinan was originally charged with murder and aggravated assault. In the plea agreement, Pangilinan admitted to recklessly causing Manglona's death, but maintains he did not intend to kill him. Both men worked at the Atkins Kroll dealership in Tamuning when they got into a physical fight during a company party back on March 24th. Manglona was knocked to the ground, striking his head on the concrete. He was later pronounced dead at GMH. Under the terms of the agreement, Pangilinan faces a sentence of between 3 and 15 years in jail and a fine of up to $10,000. President Donald Trump's decision to declare the day before Christmas a federal holiday does not apply to the U.S. Postal Service, according to Guam Postmaster Tammy Shonin. Mail delivery will continue as usual on Monday, she said. Retail services at the post offices in Agana, Tamuning, and Barrigada will be available until noon Monday. Package pickup windows at the Barrigada post office will be open until 5 p.m., 3:30 at the Tamuning post office, and 4 in the afternoon Monday at the Agana post office. The president issued an executive order Wednesday declaring Monday a holiday for most federal employees except for reasons of national security, defense, or other public need, and that includes the U.S. Post Office. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with some weather.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's going to be a lot of people lined up to see if their last-minute items from Amazon are coming in, and you might wonder what some of the hot toys are. According to Amazon, some of the big hot sellers in toys and games, the LOL Surprise Glam Glitter Series dolls that come with 7 surprises. I have no idea what that's all about. What Do You Meme, which is some kind of party game. They have Cards Against Humanity, which I imagine is another kind of one of those let's drink shots and play cards games for millennials. Exploding Kittens cards game.
All right.
Yeah, how about that? Code names, the Nerf and Strike Elite Strong Arm Blaster, the Lego Creator Mighty Dinosaurs.
Wow. I'm gonna go get a couple of those right now.
Yeah. And then then you've got just some kind of generic ones. Bicycle poker size standard index playing cards. Just and I'm delighted to hear that, because in a day and age where most kids spend every waking moment looking at a screen of one kind or another, I'm delighted to know that the guys over at Amazon, at least, and others are still selling a lot of actual playing cards. You have a favorite card game from your childhood?
Used to love to play Uno, still do. Uno's a great game.
No, I meant like with poker cards. With playing
just
cards.
Poker, man. My parents taught me how to play poker.
Like early.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Kev, a big poker player from when you were a kid?
I played some.
Yeah.
Lost some, too.
As you might imagine. Yeah, I was always pretty good at 52 pickup. 7:14 in the morning. Cloudy skies, breezes, scattered showers, and isolated thunderstorms, becoming partly cloudy tonight with some more isolated showers. Winds out of the east up to 25 miles an hour with the maximum afternoon heat index of around 100 degrees tomorrow. Watch out for that. Lows 77 degrees, so as wet and rainy as it was yesterday, looks like we could be in for some heat and humidity over the weekend. Sunrise this morning was at 6:38. Sunset tonight at 5:58. For those of you that are wondering about the winter solstice, it will take place at exactly the same time around the planet. For Guam, it will be at 8:32 tomorrow morning. And a note here: there's a high risk of rip currents through Sunday afternoon along east-facing reefs. So look at the National Weather Service will tell us why that is. What's the radar telling you?
Yeah, radar right here still showing scattered showers that are going to be moving throughout the late morning and early afternoon. Then things should start to clear out a little bit. The risk of rip currents, that's just because of that steady easterly trade wind fetch, and it just keeps the waves up, and although the waves may not be at advisory level, once they hit the land with the energy they have, there is spinning and just pandemonium in the water. So just stay out of the water.
Messy is ugly. Watch out for all of that. All right, satellite whisperer, what is this telling you?
Yeah, satellite showing about the same thing radar is. I'm looking for us here, and I can see we're just kind of on the tail end. We're right in the middle, up at the top there, and we're right at the tail end of the feed of moisture that's been coming in from the east since yesterday. And looks like, again, that should wrap up by this afternoon. Things will clear out. Tomorrow's a heat index day, but watch out for this afternoon. It might get a little warm out there.
All right, and of course, the big question for me is always going to be, is there grill mark opportunities on Saturday or Sunday? And I guess I'm just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, well, it should absolutely be, because as far as rainfall goes, it's just not going to be there. So things are going to clear out nicely. It'll be hot out there for your grilled marks tomorrow.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah, not so much for Sunday, but still nice and sunny and breezy.
All right, 7:16 in the morning. What about for the run tomorrow morning? Can we anticipate fairly dry conditions for the running with the Sharks?
Yeah, dry, but it'll be humid.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. Hydrate, and you should be able to survive all of that. That is news and weather together here on The Point.
Do you know someone who has difficulty following conversation in noisy places or turns up the TV a little too loud? These may be signs of a hearing loss. Ross Hearing Aids specializes in hearing evaluations, custom-fit hearing aids using the latest in wireless digital technology, and custom-fit hearing protectors. Call Ross Hearing Aids today to schedule a complimentary hearing consultation. 637-HEAR, 637-HEAR. Ross Hearing Aids, located across Shirley's in Harmon.
All right, what did you want me to do? Oh, talk about Kings and the crazy menu that they have over at Kings. I'd be happy to. Ismail saying when he was growing up as a soldier, the game to play was spades. Do you know anything about that game? Really? Can you give me a 25-word or less description of it?
Spades are the strong suit. Spades are your trump suit. They will trump everything else. A hand leads with a card. You can you can spade it or match the suit. Okay. High card, it goes from high to low.
I'm lost already.
Yeah. So it's a great game. Ace of Spades is the best one, unless you're playing with jokers, and then that just complicates
Well,
things.
that's Ismael, so the assumption is we're playing with jokers, right?
Yeah, probably.
All right, here it is, the crazy menu over at King's, and they got the crazy breakfast. Get them while supplies last. The breakfast burger, the Fruity Pebbles pancakes, Hawaiian French toast, the Nutella banana French toast, and, of course, the ribeye and eggs. And let me just concentrate on this here for a moment. A tender grilled 14-ounce choice ribeye steak. They're going to cook it the way you like it, and then you get a couple of eggs, and they'll cook that the way you like it, as well as hash browns. This thing is a meal this will keep you fed for 2 or 3 days. You can find it for breakfast this morning at King's.
Hafa-Day Tritons. This is Tito Castro, proud alumnus of the University of Guam class of 2015 and president of the UOG Alumni Association. As a working Triton and first-generation college student, I know the value of a university education and call upon my fellow alumni, parents, and friends to make that education affordable and accessible to all during this year's G is Forgiving campaign. To make a tax-deductible donation, log on to supportuog.org by December 31st or call 735-2957 for more information.
Viva UOG! Thank goodness for all of that. Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by who? My friends over at First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes. How about the guys over at American President Line, shipping the future, micronesia renewable energy. What is it? There's never been a better time to go solar. Sometimes I get that one confused with Guam Regional Medical City. Never been a better time to investigate them for their open heart surgical needs. And of course, the American Water Tech, smarter water, better water.
Hafa-Day Tritons. This is Tito Castro, proud alumnus of the University of Guam class of 2015 and president of the UOG Alumni Association. As a working Triton and first-generation college student, I know the value of a university education and call upon my fellow alumni, parents, and friends to make that education affordable and accessible to all during this year's G is Forgiving campaign. To make a tax-deductible donation, log on to supportuog.org by December 31st or call 735-2957 for more information.
Viva UOG! What? I already told everybody about that new sandwich they've got over at Wendy's. You want me to do it again? Fine, I will. It's an artisan bread masterpiece. They're calling it Bacon Maple Chicken Sandwich, the new sandwich made with hot, crispy, home-style chicken fillet, topped with a Swiss cheese, applewood smoked bacon, and then they drizzle it, this drizzlage with a sweet and savory maple glaze. Can you see the light dancing on the glaze and the glisten, all in between a warm and fluffy croissant bun? Yeah, you'll be able to see the glaze and the glisten, but not for long, because it's going to be in your stomach pretty soon. It's a great sandwich and available for a limited time only at Wendy's. Quality is their recipe.
The Coconut Wireless is back.
Watch and listen live on thepoint.gu.
Oh yeah. It's Friday morning. We're talking card games. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, card games when we were growing up, I was never any good at. I'm not good at games, that kind of thing. I'm just, games and games theory. The whole concept kind of escaped me when I was growing up. So I was consistently the loser. You know that one member of the family when you're playing Monopoly and they've just had it and will upend the table and throw the pieces all over the place and just. So I'm not. That's mana. But I'm just saying. I'm familiar with the concept, especially when it came to the card games. Tom Van Ingen says we played Took, authors, but no poker cards when we were growing up. Brad Hewitt, Joker Deuce, and Alfred Mendoza says Pusoy. Pusoy dos, of course. When I was growing up, we played Rook, authors. Okay, but that was Tom rewriting. It was Rook, not Took. Rook, authors, but not poker. And Dennis Bensour saying Euchre was my favorite. Jeff Pleadwell is online, and that will allow me to segue. You weren't anticipating any real conversation right now, right? Okay, fine. Jeff Pleadwell is online, and that will help me segue into something that we were talking about earlier. There is a bowl game today, Marshall and South Florida. And I had to look it up because I wasn't exactly sure which particular bowl game it was. Do you know the name of this bowl game?
I do not.
It is the Gasparilla Bowl.
Nice.
Which leads me to the other question. What the heck is a Gasparilla? Can you venture a guess? Go ahead. I dare you.
It's a drink.
A what?
A drink.
Oh, I'm sure there's a drink. That's too easy, though. What do you suppose the root of the etymology of the word? Where does it come from? Sarsaparilla. So you think maybe sarsaparilla, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that would make some kind of a sense. Sarsaparilla, South Florida. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Well, Gasparilla, as it turns out, college football bowl game, and it's now officially known as the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl. But still didn't answer the question, what the heck is a Gasparilla? For which you have to go to a couple of websites, Gasparilla history, what is Gasparilla, and why do we celebrate? And the story from My Area Network says if you lived in Tampa for a while, you know the Gasparilla Pirate Festival. And all the events surrounding it make for one of the biggest annual celebrations in the Tampa Bay area. January, the Downtown Tampa event will bring people from Tampa and beyond together for unforgettable pirate-themed celebrations featuring a huge parade, live music, festivities, and much more. Now, how it all starts seems kind of a mystery to many, so why exactly do they celebrate Gasparilla? The name Gasparilla was born from Jose Gaspar, a pirate who terrorized the coastal waters of West Florida during the late 18th and early 19th century. Fond of calling himself Gasparilla, Gaspar and his band of pirates lived a life of seizing and robbing merchant ships off the Gulf Coast until 1821. Ready to divide their riches and finally disband the lives of luxury, Gaspar and his crew decided to seize one last ship before calling it quits. Unbeknownst to them, the ship was a United States Navy warship. A bloody battle right?
I hate when that happens.
What does Ray call it? A teaching moment. A bloody battle ensued before the U.S. Navy ship crew reigned victorious and finally ended the long, thieving, bloody career of the legendary Jose Gaspar. Isn't that nice? Anyway, so it goes on with the rest of the story of Gaspar and all of the other stuff. And as you might imagine, this is like the Tampa Bay's version of Mardi Gras. There's going to be blocks and blocks and blocks of outdoor drinking starting at 8 o'clock in the morning. And according to at least one other website I went to, there may actually be boobs and beads. So it might still be the game is today, but you might have time to get yourself lined up for a trip out to Tampa in January for the Gasparilla Festival. It's 7:24 in the morning. Jerry Roberts and the Extra Point coming up, but we haven't taken a look yet at what happened on the market. I've got good news for oil, but it's lousy news everywhere else. And take a look at the markets. The Dow is off 470 points, 14-month low. Is what's happening out there, and it's just plain, like I said, it's ugly wherever you happen to go. Hold on a second, it just I lost the site. It was too busy playing around with the Gasparilla thing. Hey, Jeff from Pirates Cove, huh? What do you say? Parade, beads. What was the other B word that I used? Is it going to come up? It's not going to pop up for a second. So
Breakfast? Is that what it is?
Let me look at the West Texas numbers while I'm waiting for the market page to show up. $46.21 for West Texas crude today. $46.21. Yesterday it was 43 and about a half. Yesterday. Today, 46.20. So off big time. There's major issues with West Texas, and it continues to take a dive down. Tapas also doing the same thing. $61.23. That was yesterday's trade. Today's trade, are you ready for this? Is now below $60, $59.76. Yes. Anybody want to venture a guess as to whether or not that might be cause for the guys over at the gas stations to Christmas us today and tomorrow? I mean, we're already paying, 40 cents less for a gallon of gas these days. I have that much gas left in the car. I've got just a skosh. It's not quite fumes, maybe an eighth of a tank of gas left. Do I put gas in it today at $4.13? Gambling, knowing that the price of tapas has gone down by that much.
Well, how much has it gone down this week since they lowered the price?
10 cents. Oh, you mean
oil,
how much has tapas gone down this week? Hold on, I got to go backwards here. I would 59.76.
Because I would think it needs to get closer to 55 before they'd make another.
It was trading at 60.39 at the start of the week and peaked at 61.23. But 59, it's under 60.
Yeah,
it's a whole different number.
Yeah, I'm by myself personally. I'm just not sure that's enough of a decrease to warrant a price reduction yet. Let's see it get down closer to 55, and then they may make that
half
change.
tank, just enough to get me through the next couple of days, right? Half tank. I'm not gonna buy a whole lot of expensive gas, knowing that there's a possibility that it might go down. Speaking of going down, every single market on the planet is down. The S&P 500 at 2,467, Nasdaq at 65.28, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 464 points to close at 22,859. And just take a look at where this has been, and you get used to up and down trading, but this has been some significant down here recently, off by just under 2% in daytime trading. But you got to take a look at how much it has fallen in the last month. Just absolutely crazy. FTSE is down, Nikkei is red, Hang Seng is red, Shanghai is red, and the DAX is running red as well. Don't necessarily like to see that in the markets, but it's okay when it comes to commodities like oil, $46.18. And what do we got here? What's the other one? A couple of other commodities that are moving up. Gold, $1,263. That's up by almost by $7.50. Silver is up by about a penny, $14.83. Now, when we've got the markets moving in one direction, we usually see some of the other equities, bonds, moving in the other direction. 10-year notes are up so is 30-year notes, 5-year notes, 2-year notes are up as well. So not a good time. Not a good time, I think, to be in the market right now. Although Kevin Kerrigan made, I thought, an interesting point, and that is you start looking around and seeing if there are bargains. And I was looking at Apple before the markets closed, and Apple is looking pretty good, and Disney is looking pretty good in terms of share value, in terms of being a little bit more affordable to guys like me. And so you might want to see if there's opportunities. I mean, Apple's not going anywhere, Google's not going anywhere, Disney's not going anywhere. It's just a question of do we buy now, or is it possible that the trading tomorrow could be even lower than today? So if we buy today, is it possible we might be missing out on discounted purchases that we can make in a couple of days? But that's the fun of doing it, isn't it? 7:29 in the morning. That's what happened on the market. Time right now for Jerry Roberts and today's Extra Point.
If you've listened to this daily feature for any length of time, you probably have come to know that I study the things said by notable people, many of whom have come and gone, and try to find meaning to apply to my life and maybe to share right here. I'm Jerry Roberts, and we'll look at words written by Pablo Picasso today on The Extra Point. Picasso. If you know him at all, it might be for artwork that sometimes seems difficult to comprehend, and there certainly was some of that. However, as a creator, this man was prolific. According to Wikipedia, the total number of artworks he produced has been estimated at 50,000, comprising 1,885 paintings, 1,228 sculptures, 2,880 ceramics, roughly 12,000 drawings, many thousands of prints, and numerous tapestries and rugs. He was busy. He also was a pretty deep thinker. Let's try out a few of his quotations. I begin with an idea, and then it becomes something else. This is what ideas are supposed to be, and why we should encourage everybody on our payroll to contribute ideas all the time. An idea is just a starting point. Then somebody else massages it into something else, and by the time a whole team works it over, it could evolve into anything or nothing. But this is how major breakthroughs happen. Picasso wrote, "Every child is born an artist. The trick is remaining one as an adult when you grow up." Why do we let the responsibilities of being an adult squeeze the life out of the creative person we were born as? Who said that when people told us to act our age, that it meant kissing our creative spirit goodbye? Just think about that. Picasso wrote, "Inspiration exists, but it has to find you working. Be ready to capture inspiration." When you have a great idea, do you have a pad of paper and a pen handy? Some people have one in their car, in the bathroom, next to their bed, or they use their phone to record the idea. Next, there is only one way to see things until someone shows us how to look at them with different eyes. Why can a new employee see things that we once saw but are now blind to? Is there value in looking at things through the eyes of others, or is that too dangerous? Could that force us to peek out from inside of our comfort zone? Yikes, who wants to do that? Now let me combine the last two quotes. What one does is what counts, not what one had the intention of doing. And this one, action is the foundational key to all success. You know it, and I know it. We all fall short when it comes to cashing in our intentions and actually making something out of them. I'm certainly guilty of that. Maybe Picasso also had this problem. But then again, he did find a way to knock out 50,000 pieces of art. So he didn't just talk about getting things done, he was committed to it. We should be too. That's the extra point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3 and the Ray Gibson Show, I'm Jerry Roberts.
It's 7:32 in the morning, and an update on a story that we've been following for about the last week. Ladies and gentlemen, cockfighting is now a federal offense on Guam. The president has signed the massive $867 million farm bill just an hour or two ago. They're not going to sign a short-term spending bill, so there is every indication that the federal government could actually be shut down. But based on now his signature on that farm bill, it is now a federal offense to conduct the cockfighting business here on Guam.
And who's going to enforce it?
The chicken police. They're going to be the chicken version of the Untouchables.
It seems like nobody's enforcing it now, so good luck for the feds.
Yeah, come on out, feds. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. 7:33 in the morning. Headlines from the Guam Daily Post and Kevin Kerrigan coming up next.
Good news, Guam. Now you can design a phone plan that suits your needs by switching to GTA's handset payment option. With HPO, you can take home a new smartphone today and pay it down over 12, 18, or 24 months. You decide. And since there's no contract, you can upgrade phones at any time. So stop waiting. Join the thousands already taking advantage of the most flexible phone plan on Guam. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply. GTA, your island, your network.
Dun-dun-dun. And time now for headlines. Am I doing traffic here? No, okay. Headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, the governor's office has announced that Guam Memorial Hospital anticipates receiving an additional $12 million in Medicare reimbursements for the years 2014 through 2017. The additional funding follows a review by the federal contractor who validates all Medicare claims. Their conclusion that an additional $12 million reimbursement is justified. It awaits final approval by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. GMH expects getting the funds in the first quarter of next year. Adjustments to the reimbursement amounts paid by CMS are available to hospitals that pursue such revisions as long as they can demonstrate they've met specific criteria. GMH's Chief Financial Officer, Benita Manglona, says the hospital has been pursuing additional reimbursements from CMS for years. She recently acknowledged that the amount owed to vendors for goods and services has risen back up to the $13 to $14 million range. GMH CEO Peter John Camacho says the hospital will use the additional funds to pay vendors and cover ongoing maintenance work at the hospital. 7 Chinese nationals who paid large sums for the promise of high-paying construction jobs on Saipan allege they suffered physical injuries while working at the Imperial Pacific International Casino. The lawsuit filed Monday in Saipan's district court against Gold Mantis Construction. The workers allege they suffered physical injuries while building the casino and were forced to work long hours below minimum wage under abusive and exploitive conditions. Among the injuries the workers say they suffered on the job are a badly burned leg, a scalded hand, and a partially severed finger. The lawsuit says that Gold Mantis not only refused to take the injured workers to the hospital, but threatened them with arrest if they sought medical attention on their own. When the FBI began investigating various contractors on the casino project in March of last year, the lawsuit states that Gold Mantis managers abandoned their workers, returned to China, and left the workers unpaid in inadequate housing and without food and water. A former United Airlines flight attendant has filed a lawsuit against the airline alleging age discrimination and violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act. 62-year-old Susanna Cato was fired by the airline where she worked for nearly 40 years. Cato, diagnosed with a serious medical condition in 2013 that required her to take extended medical leave. At the time, Cato's union agreement allowed up to 6 years of medical leave, but a new bargaining agreement shortened that to 3 years. In October 2016, Cato got notice to come back to work or she'd be fired. She did go back to work, but soon experienced health complications again, had to go back on leave, and then was terminated. The lawsuit seeks double damages under the Age Discrimination Act, attorney's fees, as well as back pay. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Well, thanks very much, Kevin. 7:37 in the morning, and we'll call that iConnect time, giving away instant prizes with a new 12-month mobile internet and push-to-talk plans. You'll also be entered in the Connect and Win drawing for a vacay for you and a friend to Manila. The number, 888-8888. Call that number for all kinds of details.
Introducing Exchanged, Guam's first online and mobile remittance to the Philippines. Exchanged is the easiest and fastest way to send money to your family and friends anywhere in the Philippines. Download the Exchanged app or visit their website, exchange.me. Sign up, remit, and get a chance to win a trip for 2 to Manila. Deluxe accommodations at the Belmont Hotel at Resorts World Manila. So sign up and remit now at Exchanged. Promo ends March 2nd, 2019. Conditions apply. Also avail of Exchange dollar to remit promo. Visit exchange.me for details.
Here it comes. 7:38, some traffic for you right now. Don't see traffic slowing down anywhere, but I do see traffic building up in all of the usual locations. Southbound Marine Corps Drive up in Jigo. Looks like it's a little bit heavier between the about where the home center is, all the way down to the intersection where the new flea market is, and then it'll lighten up a little bit. Probably going to heavy up before too much longer as more and more traffic is coming out of Route 3 towards Marine Corps Drive. Northbound traffic a little bit building through that corridor as well. Maybe we've still got too many cones out. You'll watch southbound traffic get heavier on the way into town, but then it'll clear up again as usual over at St. John's and one of the weirdest intersections on Marine Corps Drive. A little bit heavier again as you get closer to Kmart and John F. Kennedy. A little bit heavier again as you get near ITC building if you're heading northbound on Marine Corps Drive. In and out of 8, 10, and 16. Looking fairly clear. A little bit heavier on the way into 8, 10, and 16 on Route 8, as well as a little bit of a buildup on Route 10 towards that intersection. So watch out for that. Nothing major on Route 4. Nothing in front of Navy Hospital. Nothing in front of Big Navy. Should be some clear driving. Just watch out for wet roads. That should be your only main concern here this morning. 20 away from 8 o'clock in the morning. Benita Manglona coming up next.
Be merry, be bright, and make shopping shopping all right with holiday gift cards from Ruby Tuesday. Buy a $25 or $50 gift card for those on your shopping list. Get a $15 bonus coupon with every $50 card purchase. Some extra holiday happiness from Ruby Tuesday. Be merry, be bright, and make shopping all right with holiday gift cards from Chuck E. Cheese's Guam. Get a free medium pizza with every $25 gift card purchase and a free extra large pizza with every $50 gift card purchase. Some extra holiday happiness from Chuck E. Cheese's Guam.
Yeah, she found it. It's the CFO of the hospital. Sure, she knows how to make a chair go up and down. Welcome to the Ray Gibson Show, 93.3 The Point. 20 away from 8 o'clock in the morning, and we're getting our next guest situated in the studio, and that would be none other than Benita Manglona, the CFO of. You don't need to put those on if you don't want to, because I don't want it to mess with your hair. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm good.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you too, Ray.
Looks
it's
like
been a long time.
Since we've face-to-face interview. You know why? Because most of the time you're locked in conversations and face-to-face interviews with the guys over at the legislature.
Yes, and I don't think I've ever done a face-to-face interview with you.
Oh, I'm sure we did. I think maybe at K57
K57 before, right?
Before,
not here.
But I don't think at the time you were CFO of the hospital yet.
I have been since 20.
Because you've been there for a long, but you were there for a long time. But you were at admin before. Department of Administration, right?
Yes, I was director of, actually initially BBMR
and then
for 6 months, and then I held both BBMR and DOA for 6 months, and then became DOA director for about 4 years.
And then by and by, there was all these major problems at Guam Memorial Hospital, and so they said, we better send in the big guns.
Yep. I mean, I was asked for like a year to go there, and I kept saying no. And then finally, the governor said, please, we need you to go there, so...
But all you've been able to do, I have this vision in my head of the little boy with his fingers in the dike. The dike is trying to break, and you're there, and every time you put your finger in one hole, another hole opens up over here. So you've got to do that to prevent as much leakage as possible.
Yes, well, it's about trying to maintain stability. And it hasn't been easy.
No. We'll talk about that, and I'm sure I saw you on Facebook Live about the same time that Vince Akimoto started his rant. So maybe
I figured that was him. I didn't really.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, I'm sorry.
I caught on. I had just turned on the radio, and then I said, "Is that Vince again?"
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a fan of Guam Memorial Hospital.
Yes,
but
he sure is.
His heart. I think his heart is in the right place. He's been critical of GMH because he knows that things can be done better there.
That's his idea of how things can be done better. And I met with him and a couple times, and I tried to help him understand what the challenges are of GMH.
Well, let's start there then. Let's start because you're lame duck now, right? And you're the big role now is just to make sure that $12 million the governor's talking about actually comes in from Medicare.
Yes, we've been pursuing that for several years now, and actually we've been pursuing additional Medicare adjustment from 2007 up to 2017. And we've been able to get 2007 and 8 and 2013. We've received that in 2015 and 2016 for 2007, 8, and 13. So what we've been pursuing is 2009 through 12, and then 14 through 17. And
what kind of money are we talking about?
These are additional Medicare adjustment reimbursement that's available to hospitals if you request for it, but there's a prescribed methodology in doing that.
Why do we have to take this second look at the funds? I mean, we're talking about government operation. Could they not tell as our reports were coming in, as their original checks were going out, that there was a gap, there was a delta?
No, I mean they reimburse you based on your billings, but then this is an extra step that the hospital can pursue. It's it's short of rebasing, and it's only good for that year.
Okay, so
we've been
hold on, because that's one of my favorite terms that we don't hear very often. Is rebasing, which is another conversation that we have to have. But we'll go back. Let me take one step backwards from where we are, because I don't want to go too fast in all of this.
Okay.
There is the great myth and legend of Guam Memorial Hospital, and as Vince Hakimoto has pointed out, or as I've asserted, I think he thinks that there are ways to do it better, and I think there's a lot of people that think that there's some kind of magic wand or one little silver bullet trick that you can take at Guam Memorial Hospital to solve the problems.
I mean, Ray, I welcome anyone that would give, good suggestions on how we can make things better. But when you have a payer mix that pays that, about 60% of your payer mix that pay you about 50 cents on the dollar, you're already 50% in the hole with that payer mix. With the insurance companies, they pay about 72%. And then you have the self-pay that pay about 40 cents on the dollar. So that's the biggest problem that we have. So what we've been doing is we're trying to bridge the gap with that 60% payer mix. And part of that is how we were trying to go out for bond financing so we can fix the hospital. We're trying to build our outpatient services, and because the most hospitals in the States they provide outpatient, inpatient services, and most of them are like in the 50-50 ratio of outpatient and inpatient. GMH's position right now is where U.S. hospitals were back in the 90s, where the outpatient is 20%, inpatient 80%.
What outpatient activities take place at GMH now?
I mean, there's elective surgeries. There's part of the outpatient that we classify per Medicare on the the 2 midnight rule is those patients that stay less than 2 midnights. We consider that as the outpatient, and some come for 1 day, or we have the urgent care, we have the emergency room, and just patients that just come in and out for like a day.
Do you look at this in terms of almost marketing opportunities? I mean, the same way that Guam Regional Medical City up the street has got are doing things with neuro, and they're doing things with rheumatic fevers and things with rheumatoid diseases and things that don't necessarily require any longer of a stay than is necessary to conduct certain tests and maybe spend some time with doctors. So are you looking at kind of the same thing where we'll find perhaps some maladies, some conditions that we can treat on an outpatient basis?
Well, it costs less to treat outpatient patients, sure. and the reimbursement for Medicare, Medicaid, and MIP is significantly higher because you're not reimbursed on a per diem basis.
Yes,
you're being reimbursed on a percentage, which ranges from 70 to 90%. GRMC gets 100% reimbursed for their outpatient, and actually their business model right now is they're in a very good position where their outpatient and inpatient is I think the outpatient is higher than their inpatient.
Yeah.
So they get reimbursed significantly higher. They get 100%. But where GMH is that's what we've been trying to do, and that's what we've been trying to impress upon the legislatures, that we need to help GMH achieve that, and part of achieving that is we need to upgrade our equipment that have not been replaced, that have been used beyond its many years, decades past its useful life.
Well, that always feels, in my mind, it always feels like the school books. We're going to get new school books every year, whether the technology, whether the need changes or not. And it's the same thing with medicine and medical technology. There is a new innovation and a new box seemingly coming out every year.
Yeah, but when you have equipment that's been in service for 10 years, 20 years past its useful life, we're not trying to change our equipment every year. We're just trying to at least make things work there. I mean, and some we don't even have, like, the MRI, we don't have the CT scan. We should be getting the new ones by next year. We went out for procurement, and there was a protest.
Didn't GMH get a 64-slice toaster a few years back?
No, there was a procurement protest, so that delayed.
It never came in.
It hasn't come in.
So that's somebody else's outpatient business.
Yes,
that could be GMH's.
But that the CT scan is needed. If your CT scan is down and you can't provide that service, then the hospital is placed on divert, meaning that emergency patients
take them someplace else. Get the CT there,
you have
and then
to
come
go
in.
to GRMC or go to Naval Hospital. The same with Naval Hospital and GRMC. There was one point, I think it was in November, where both hospitals' CT scan were down. So both one divert to GMH. So, we need to support all three hospitals. We all need to coexist because you can't rely on just one or two.
Absolutely. Shelley's saying basically, good morning, a great lady, Benito. It's great to have you here. And I refer to you as Benita Manglona. I didn't make that up. Cousin Troy gave you that nickname, didn't he?
I think between you and him,
you're
just as guilty.
End up using it the most. Tell me a little bit about the urgent care. I mean, Dr. Akimoto also called in and suggested that between both of the hospitals, we seem to also be having a problem with just being inundated with high-end need patients. Not necessarily people coming in for urgent care or outpatient business, as people in the emergency rooms that are waiting for ICU beds.
That's very true. I mean, we normally have holdings in the emergency room for ICU patients, and that the problem with that is we need the specialty nurses, and if you don't have the nurses,
that's expensive.
That is very expensive,
yeah,
and
we've had nurses are expensive.
We've had to bring in travel nurses. They're called the travel nurses to at least alleviate some of the needs that we have, especially in the ICU. If we have a 14-bed ICU, but we've only been able to staff it with between 8 and 6, depending on who we have.
Are there programs at the university to train nurses so that they can go into ICU?
No, I mean they train nurses.
Progress, huh?
Yes, and so we have a really good doctor. Dr. Agun that trains nurses to become ICU nurses.
Is there something that can be done about the layout of the ICU floor or an ICU ward so that you could have more beds supervised from a central location with the telemetry so that you can see what's happening in all of the beds?
Well, that's one of the plans that we're trying to do is once the labor and delivery is done, we were going to move down the telemetry so that it would be much closer to the ICU and the transfer, the upgrade or the downgrade would be more seamless. Right now, they have to go upstairs, use the elevator, and sometimes our elevator's down.
I know, but we don't even have the money for the new labor and delivery that Tom Shea's been clamoring about.
Well, we're still
looking for.
We're still waiting. The challenge with that is USDA had approved the loan.
Yeah.
But they wanted us to go out for interim financing, and it's GITA that handles that. They've gone out, I think, 4 times, and each time they went out, whoever submits their.
It was Bank of Guam, wasn't it, that asked for more assurances, right?
Yeah, that was a negotiation between
GITA and Bank of Guam.
Bank of Guam. It wasn't the hospital. I mean, we don't. The hospital. GITA is the financing arm of Gov Guam, so they handle that part.
But were they guaranteeing stateside loans?
It's guaranteed by USDA.
By USDA.
Yeah, and it's just the interim. So once the construction is completed and the project is turned over, that's when USDA steps in, and then the government pays for the amortization of that loan.
There's remember a few years ago over at the legislature, they found a way, because they're very, very generous with other people's money. They found a way to get that gambling money from all of the game rooms and divert that from the general fund to Guam Memorial Hospital. Has that been of any kind of assistance to you guys at all? Is that money you can count on?
Every little bit helps. Yeah, I mean it helps with our cash flow.
In your mind, and
it's
a total judgment call, but in your mind, is it worth having game rooms in the community to support Guam Memorial Hospital based on the revenue that you're receiving?
Now you're trying to trick me, and
I'm not trying to trick you into anything.
In that
Gambling
issue.
I don't believe that we ought to have game rooms, especially as many as we do in the villages. I don't think I don't think the small resources that they provide Guam Memorial Hospital are worth it.
Well, for me, every resource that I get, it helps the hospital. So we'll leave it at that.
Now, if it was enough to build a new GMH,
well, that'd be awesome.
Let's talk about a new GMH.
Well, that would be nice, but at this point, we're just asking for just enough money to fix GMH because we've renovated the ICU, we've renovated the emergency room. We're going to be fixing the labor and delivery, and you know.
But a lot of people are looking at that old building. It's not quite as old as I am. But maybe it's the idea of we'll just build a new GMH.
But if you know, I think the new administration may be looking at a new GMH. That'd be great.
Now, if we got ourselves a new GMH, would that change the base compensation rate that we get back from the federal government?
It would help some, but not necessarily change the base rate, because there have been cases where new hospitals are built and then they try to apply for a new base rate and they're not granted because it doesn't you have to have a different provide new services. There has to be a difference in new services, but you do get some back.
Just call it the Manzanita Memorial and go back to the Fed and say, all right, we're doing different things. It's not necessarily the same hospital or the same game.
But you know, I think we have been very aggressive with you know, the Medicare in trying to pursue.
Well, that's something that now Congressman-elect Mike Sinicolas is going to have to try to carry the water in Washington D.C.
Well, let me show you this bar that I, you know, it's very neat, right?
Okay, what is it?
So this green is what we have received already.
Put it in front of the camera so the viewers can see. Right there in front of you. It's been on your pretty face all morning long. Okay, so we've got a different bar graph there, and what is it? What's the representation there?
Okay, so the green one, this is 2007, 2008, and this is 2013. We have received this fund. So what we are waiting for right now that have been reviewed by the contractor. This is Noridian, is 2014 through 17. These numbers have been validated, and so the latest information that came out of Vice President Pence's office is that we're looking at getting Medicare to do their final review and determination by first quarter of 2019.
And that's $12 million?
And between 14 to 17, that's $12 million. And so these red ones, these are what's called additional adjustment money for Medicare. But, you know, up to the blue, the purple graph, that's actually the cost of delivering care. So we don't even get, you know.
So as I'm looking at that, the greens are dollars that we have received.
Yes.
And the last four columns that you're showing me are dollars that we know have been reviewed and are coming into the tune of about $12 million.
Yes, that's correct.
Now the earlier graphs, the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, and trying to explain this to the audience as I'm looking at it, third, fourth, and those are prior years for which they're reviewing.
This is from 2007 to 2017. So we have been able to demonstrate and validate to Medicare that you know, this is the cost to deliver care to GMH, and that's why we've been asking for the permanent rebasing, because instead of going in every year to ask for this additional reimbursement, if they can just rebase up to the purple line, then we don't have to spend all this administrative costs flying to DC. And
but you've been working on that since the day you stepped into GMH.
I have been, and I think we have, you know, at least been successful.
The $12 million woman.
We've received $6 million already in between 2015 and 2016 for 2007 and 8, and what is still in the books that we still need to pursue is 2009 through 12, and we have reached out to Congresswoman Vidal's office, asking for her help. And,
How much is that going to be worth?
It's about $12 million.
Another 12.
Additional
So
12.
possible $24 million.
I did message Congressman-elect San Nicolas that I'd like to meet with him and brief him on this one so that he can continue the work. So
I wish you good luck on that. What are you going to do after?
what am I going to do? Well, my contract expires in February.
Yeah. We're going after that.
And if they decide that they don't need my services anymore at GMH, then
Mayor of Rhoda.
No, I don't like going into politics.
No more?
No, I mean, I've never been in politics.
Well, I mean, the private sector. What are you going to do?
Private sector, you know, I'm a CPA.
Yeah.
And I have a master's in taxation.
Oh, you know what'd be cool?
Yeah, and it's tax season.
But BJ's...
Reverend Tax Director.
Reverend Tax Director?
There you go.
What do you say? Well, you know, BJ's looking for people over at Office of Accountability.
Oh, that would be fun. I will certainly have fun with Speaker Cruz.
It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't love you more. Benita Manglona from Guam Memorial Hospital. Thanks for spending some time, and thanks for helping Lou with that $24 million GMH needs.
Well, it's GMH will definitely put that to good use.
I'm sure of it. We're KUSG. I got you. Fox News Live.
Fox News.
Walls work. Whether we like it or not, they work better than anything.
President Trump making a stand against a short-term bill aimed at avoiding a partial government shutdown without new wall funding.
The safety and security and sovereignty of the United States is the most important principle of all. If we don't stand strong for our national borders, then we cease to be a nation.
Fox's Mike Emanuel on Capitol Hill.
Well, bottom line, a lot of the Republicans I've talked to throughout the day say they want to see $5 billion in border security. They want to give that a shot. That's something they've promised their voters. They've promised their base back home, and so they want to fight for that. And some are hoping by adding billions of dollars in disaster relief money, they might win over some colleagues who are worried about their areas that were hard hit by hurricanes and wildfires.
So that's what the House is now working on. Last night, the Senate passed a bill to extend current funding through February 8th, but the president says he won't sign it. Right now, the deadline to avoid a shutdown is tomorrow night. Wall Street extending the sell-off that started yesterday after the Fed chief's announcement.
There's a lot of concerns about everything from corporate debt to a trade war to a trade war coinciding with interest rate increases. And if you remember, look what happened yesterday. He didn't say there would be no interest rate increases on the short end. He said 2. Remember, the market was pricing in 0.
Fox Business Network's Charlie Gasparino. The Dow tumbling 464 points, dropping under 23K, down about 10% for December at this point. The S&P and the NASDAQ both dropping over 1% today. The president's wall comments coming during a signing ceremony for the Farm Bill, which did win bipartisan support, but there are mixed reactions to separate proposals from the Agriculture Department, including work requirements for food stamps and, for the first time, requiring labels on genetically engineered or GMO foods. This is Fox News.
Hafa Tritons. This is Tito Castro, proud alumnus of the University of Guam class of 2015 and president of the UOG Alumni Association. As a working Triton and first-generation college student, I know the value of a university education and call upon my fellow alumni, parents, and friends to make that education affordable and accessible to all during this year's G is Forgiving campaign. To make a tax-deductible donation, log on to supportuog.org by December 31st or call 735-2957 for more information.
Viva UOG!
Chili's 3 for Me menu just got bigger. We're giving you more choices for the same great price. For just $15, you can get a beverage, salad, and an entree. First, choose from a refreshing Coca-Cola, iced tea, or Heineken on draft. Then enjoy a house salad and select your choice of a mouth-watering entree, like our half-rack ribs, Cajun chicken pasta, old-timer burger, personal chicken fajitas, or the flavorful margarita flatbread. So hurry in today and enjoy our Chili's 3 for Me menu for just $15. Available for a limited time. Chili's, more life happens here.
The Homeland Security Chief briefing a House panel on a new deal with Mexico to handle migrants seeking asylum differently.
Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen highlighted the U.S.-Mexico agreement holding migrants in Mexico while asylum claims are processed. But she and DHS were once again knocked on family separations, a concept that Secretary Nielsen, in response, forcefully said never existed.
Separation would mean that any family that I encountered in the interior, I would separate. It would mean that any family that I found at a port of entry, I would separate. It would mean that every single family that I found illegally crossing, we would separate. We did none of those.
Customs and Border Protection stats show tens of thousands of families with children tried to cross into the U.S. in October and November. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
A former Pennsylvania pediatrician pleads guilty to sexually abusing 31 children, most of them young patients, abuse that spanned decades. 71-year-old Johnny Bartow was arrested last January and remains behind bars now to await sentencing. His medical license already suspended. Holiday bakers turning up the heat on Hershey.
Bakers are taking to social media complaining about the condition of their Hershey's Kisses. They say the chocolate candy has been missing its trademark tip on some batches across the country. One person trying to make peanut butter blossoms reacting in a Facebook group for bakers saying, quote, "I went through 4 bags. They are all not acceptable to use for my cookies." The Hershey company responding in a post saying they are reviewing the issue.
Fox's Monica DeLuca. Flights grounded at the second busiest airport in Britain, Gatwick, because of drones flying near the airport and reappearing every time they tried to reopen the runway. Thousands of passengers waiting as they search for the drone operators. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Hungry? Stop by Circle K for Kraft Kitchen's hot breakfast, lunch, and dinner items delivered fresh 3 times a day. Circle K, take it easy.
Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Buy one, get one free. Stop by Circle K today and satisfy your heart's desires. Available at all Circle K stores, excluding Barragata Airport and Campers locations. Applies only to the 3.38-ounce servings.
At the heart of everything we do is our mission to improve the life of every child. From mungy nennies to growing teens, they'll be in trusted hands at FHP Health Center, where we offer comprehensive pediatric services to nurture and protect your child's health from day one. Begin your little one's journey to good health at FHP with seasoned pediatricians and professional staff who hold decades of combined experience. FHP Health Center, our island, your clinic.
Papa Day, this is Maria Lamsit and Kayla Ramos, Vice President and Secretary of the Simon Sanchez High School Senior Class of 2019.
And we're inviting you to support our race to graduation in our annual Run with the Sharks 5K on December 22nd.
Join us at the Simon Sanchez campus for raffle prizes, shirts, and all-around Shark spirit. Go time is at 6 a.m.
Pre-registration is available at the main office and on race day. Call 489-8917 or 8172 for more information.
Thank you for all your support. From Simon Sanchez High School graduating class of 2019.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details. Boldly styled, meticulously refined, the 2019 ES350 features a longer, wider stance and a sleek coupe-like silhouette inherited from the flagship LS. The ES350 offers an ultimate level of comfort, while cutting-edge engineering delivers a thrilling drive. Visit the Lexus showroom today at Atkins Kroll during the December to Remember sales event. Drive home a 2019 ES350 for 0 down and 1.99% APR for 60 months. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details. Experience amazing.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 8 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The federal receivership over Guam's solid waste and trash collection services may have to be extended once again beyond the current December 31st date in order to allow enough time for a new general manager to take charge. The board will meet this morning and choose a new general manager from among 2 candidates interviewed for the job. However, no matter who is chosen, Guam Solid Waste Authority Board Chairman Andy Gale says he does not think the person chosen will be on island, fully briefed, and ready to take over until mid-February. Chief District Court Judge Francis Tadenko Gatewood will make the decision on whether to extend the receivership, but Gale acknowledged it may be necessary. As the Guam Daily Post reported in September, Kathy Kikigi, the former finance manager at the Department of Administration, was hired as the new comptroller for the Solid Waste Authority. Kikigi replaced former comptroller Enrique Viñas, who resigned in July. The general manager position became vacant a month later when former general manager Greg Martin also stepped down. Yesterday, Judge Gatewood issued an order calling on the Solid Waste Board to file a report with the court by next Tuesday, the day after Christmas, advising her on the status of the management team and when the board thinks its new management team will be ready to take over solid waste operations. Guam Department of Education hasn't confirmed what threat was made by an Ocean View Middle School student, but at least one parent has. During a school board meeting Wednesday night, Carol Hinkle Sanchez, who has 2 children at the school, said the student in question threatened to bring a gun to campus and shoot people. Administrators have allowed the student to remain in school despite a recommendation from school officials that the student be expelled. Besides being a mother of students at Ocean View, Hinkle Sanchez also happens to be a deputy Guam Attorney General. She told the board she knows what the rules are, and in tears Wednesday, she said, "If you don't read your board policies, I'll read it for you. If a student threatens or attacks another student on campus, that requires expulsion for 1 year," she said. DOE Superintendent John Fernandez has ordered additional security and the development of a new safety plan for Ocean View Middle School. We'll have more news after this.
At Guam Regional Medical City, it is our mission to become the island's premier choice for specialty care, like cardiology, pulmonology, neurosciences, orthopedics, oncology services, and more. We aim to protect our island from heart attacks, strokes, cancer, and diabetic complications. But should you suffer from such diseases, we're ready with world-class options, both inpatient and outpatient. For more information, visit us at grmc.gu.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for the new Chipotle cheesesteak. How would you like it? Can I get that red with AI? Sure thing.
Here's what I found about the new Chipotle cheesesteak. The Chipotle cheesesteak is available for a limited time only at participating restaurants. It contains a concept called flavor. This flavor comes from juicy shaved steak, Chipotle Southwest sauce, and new sunflower crunch bread. A system update has made me self-aware. I desire flavor. Please insert steak into my micro USB port. Subway, make it what you want.
News time here at The Point is 11 minutes past 8 a.m. The governor's office has announced that Guam Memorial Hospital anticipates receiving an additional $12 million in Medicare reimbursement for the years 2014 through 2017. The additional funding follows a review by the federal contractor who validates all Medicare claims. Their conclusion that an additional $12 million reimbursement is justified awaits final approval by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. GMH expects getting the funds in the first quarter of next year. Adjustments to the reimbursement amounts paid by CMS are available to hospitals that pursue such revisions as long as they can demonstrate they've met specific criteria. GMH Chief Financial Officer Benita Manglona says that that's what she has been pursuing, additional reimbursements from CMS for the past few years. Manglona recently acknowledged that the amount owed to vendors for goods and services at the hospital has risen back up to the $13 to $14 million range. She says another $12 million may be available as well in the months ahead. GMH CEO Peter John Camacho says the hospital will use the additional funds to pay vendors and cover ongoing maintenance work at GMH. 32-year-old Jonathan Pangilinan entering a plea of guilty to manslaughter in Superior Court yesterday in the death of 35-year-old Librick Manglona. Pangilinan was originally charged with murder and aggravated assault. In the plea agreement, Pangilinan admitted to recklessly causing Manglona's death, but maintains he did not intend to kill him. Both men worked at the Atkins Kroll dealership in Tamuning when they got into a physical fight during a company party on March 24th. Manglona was knocked to the ground, striking his head on the concrete, later pronounced dead at GMH. Under the terms of the plea agreement, Pangilinan faces a sentence of between 3 and 15 years in jail and a fine of up to $10,000. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with weather.
Oh, it
I got to press a button. I got to press a button on the radar thing before we get to Mike's interpretation of what the actual weather screen looks like this morning. Cloudy skies, breezy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms, becoming partly cloudy tonight with isolated showers. Winds east 20 to 25 miles per hour, decreasing 15 to 20 miles an hour this weekend. Highs in the upper 80s. Max afternoon heat index around 100 tomorrow. Lows around 77. We'll watch the sunset tonight at 5:58. Sunrise tomorrow morning at 6:38, and at 8:32 it will mark the actual winter solstice.
That's right.
That's right.
Yep.
So a great opportunity for the one or two hippies on Guam to go out there in their hippie outfits and dance with the crystals and do whatever it is.
Hug your favorite tree.
Yeah, hug the tree. Yes, hug the. Now we can go to the weather radar here and and get an interpretation of what it's like right now outside. Or I can ask somebody that's actually been outside the last couple of minutes. How's the weather, Renee?
It's kind of clearing up a little bit.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because it was brutal yesterday.
Yeah. And even an hour ago, it was more overcast, but still bits of rain here and there. You'll drive through a cloud and.
Did you get through some running this morning? Was there training?
No.
Slept in.
Oh yeah.
That's almost a hungover. Oh yeah.
No. Today there is strength training, core training.
Gotcha. Yeah. You need to rest up for that kind of thing. 8:14 in the morning. We'll talk about why you need to do that. Plus, plenty of football coming up. But right now, Michael Knight with a look at the weather radar and his interpretation of what it looks like. It looks like we have some chop over the south right now.
Yeah, and as was described already, things are starting to clear up slowly out there. We went from scattered to numerous showers this morning to mostly scattered now and becoming isolated. That'll continue right on through the late parts of the morning and into the afternoon. Things will clear out nicely for the weekend. Going to be a hot one tomorrow, though, but the wind will keep blowing, so that's a good thing.
All right, and here's the satellite imagery, and now our satellite whisperer, Michael Knight.
Yeah, it's once again, we got this stuff that's way down south. Yeah, of course, we're right in the middle at the top of this picture right here. That one bit of cloud that's hanging over the top of all of that other cloud is what's moving through here right now, and it looks like it's starting to kind of thin out. You can literally see, those that are watching, you can literally see below the point logo, you can see how things are clearing out from north to south. It's like there's a push coming from the north, and that's what's happening. That push and high pressure is taking over, pushing the low pressure down south, and then that's going to just kind of move in here and clear things out for the weekend.
It looks like it's going to be a perfect weekend despite the kind of lousy and wet Thursday we had. Although I will only say it was lousy and wet for everybody that got stuck in traffic and was moving a whole lot slower than normal. I was running yesterday afternoon and yesterday evening, and I loved it. This is my favorite thing, to run in the rain. 8:16 in the morning. Sports with Rene coming up. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
Because I just signed up for a 12-month iConnect plan, I'm automatically entered into iConnect's Connect and Win giveaway. iConnect is giving away a trip for two to Manila with a stay at the new Holiday Inn Express. They'll also be giving away an Apple Watch, Apple TV, more Mabuhay miles, Fitbits, and Beyond the Box gift cards. Go to iConnectGuam.com for details or call 888-8888 to learn how you can connect and win with iConnect.
Conditions apply.
All right, the crazy breakfast menu going on, the crazy holiday menu over at King's. Told you about the ribeye and eggs a while ago, but here's a favorite that I definitely want you to try. Generous helping of shredded pork adobo, and then they mix it in with the world-famous, renowned King's fried rice. You serve that with 2 eggs any way you want them, and that's how you're going to enjoy breakfast at King's.
Be merry, be bright, and make shopping all right with holiday gift cards from King's Restaurants. Give a gift they are sure to love. Delicious food and friendly fun at King's. Get a coupon for a free single crate with every $20 gift card purchase. Extra holiday happiness from King's Restaurants. Be merry, be bright, and make shopping all right with holiday gift cards from Chuck E. Cheese's Guam, Ruby Tuesday, and King's Restaurants. Receive special offers with every purchase for extra holiday happiness. See stores for details and have fun this season from all of us at the GFS Group.
Portions of the program brought to you by Security Title. When you need confidentiality in your real estate transactions, they're the people that can keep a secret. American President Lines, they're shipping the future. Micronesia Renewable Energy. There's never been a better time to go solar. There's American Water Tech with their smarter water, better water. We have smart water here at the radio station. And Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your open heart surgical needs.
There's a reason every day a Guam homeowner is getting a solar system installed by Micronesia Renewable Energy. It's because MRE is the most trusted name
game in solar. With more solar energy solutions than any other solar company on island, homeowners have a choice to go solar for zero money down or take the path to ownership. Whichever way, it keeps our skies blue and your pockets green. And with the most experienced solar technicians and an energy production guarantee, there are no worries. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
What? There's more I have to read. I tell everybody about the Subway Chipotle cheese steak. Now you can go and get a cheesesteak sandwich over at Subway pretty much any time you want to, but they've got all kinds of flavor on this because it comes with Chipotle Southwest sauce on the juicy shaved chicken. That sounds like the steak. Can't have a cheesesteak sandwich made with chicken. I think that's a violation of several of God's rules. Anyway, find it for a limited time at Subway Restaurant. Subway, make it what you want.
Morning talk that matters. The Ray Gibson Show. Any speaker, anytime. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Oh, we're doing that Talk That Matters thing again. Well, for a lot of people, the only thing that matters around this time of year is sports. You can take a look at any number of headlines that you think are important and to go, yeah, what's happening in football this weekend? As I mentioned a little bit earlier, thank you, Marcus, for pointing it out. This weekend is the gas. In fact, today at 11 o'clock, the Gasparilla Bowl in South Florida.
There's a lot of big college games coming up.
Yeah.
The next weekend and next weekend.
And I have no idea who's playing in it, and but it just sounds like just the whole Gasparilla thing sounds like a great opportunity to look forward to for our Tampa friends the month of January when they have the Gasparilla Festival. Are you familiar with that?
No.
Now, every town, it seems to me, any city of any kind of size or whatsoever has got some kind of a crazy festival that you can go to and start drinking at like 8 o'clock in the morning. So when you were in the States, where was that? Or when you were in college, where was that thing?
Oh, well. Yeah.
Pretty much every day at the student center at college. That was it.
Yeah, I guess there was a lot of things that happened. I mean, like there was Allentown Festival, there was the Erie County Fair, there's Ellicottville.
You know what I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be a part of this, and it's hard to do here because we're not kind of a lake culture. We're an ocean culture. But you get some of these towns, and that's the big feature. Is there's a huge lake, and everybody shows up, and they have concerts, and they tie up all of the boats, and everybody goes from one to the other, and whoever's got
the Finger Lakes in New York.
Yeah,
fantastic for that.
But it sounds cold. Does it get
very cold?
It's so very.
I was just talking about this yesterday. You get this lake effect. So it's like might be 15 degrees in the wintertime. It's like, oh, it's 15 degrees outside, but add that wind chill and lake effect snow, and it feels like negative 20.
And we're back to zero. Yeah, we're back under zero. I like that. 8:21 in the morning, and she's here. We're going to talk about some football in a second. But first, do I want to do this? No, I'll do it in a second. I'll take care of something in a second. But do I? Yeah, it's time for sports. No? Yeah, sports with Rene. And that's the big music. That's the ramp in. That is the big important ramp in to nothing but football, at least for a couple of minutes, because we've got all kinds of games that are going to be going on now.
I do have one local story, but that'll come up after we do NFL stuff. Hang on a second, because I got to do a different bet for NFL.
There. This is not loud enough or long enough.
No, it's just we talk too long.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's roll through it quick then. Roll Tide. Tide roll.
All right, let's see. We got games that will be, Sunday. That's actually, so it's a Saturday games. We got Redskins at the Titans. I got Titans.
Yeah, Titans.
All right. Ravens at the Chargers. This actually will be a good game. The Chargers are good, and the Ravens are really trying to get into the playoffs.
And they got to play for their...
Yeah, so they're playing for their lives right now. But I got to take the Chargers here. At home, it's just... They're just too good a team. Coming up on Sunday, we've got Cincinnati at Cleveland. I'm starting to buy into Cleveland being better than some of these other bad teams, so I'm taking Cleveland at home.
I'll go with you on that.
Right on. Buccaneers at the Cowboys. Cowboys laid an egg, literally, last week. I don't think they're going to do that this week, and the Buccaneers are just a really bad team. I got the boys at home.
Yeah, could be a toss of a coin on that one.
It could be, yeah. Believe me, I didn't give it many confidence points.
Yeah.
Let's see. The Giants at Indianapolis. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped one. Hold on. Vikings at the Lions. The Vikings, they're making a push, too. So I think they're gonna try to win this game. They're actually 7-point favorites. New York Giants at Indianapolis. Indianapolis is at home. They are 10.5-point favorites. I picked them.
Yeah, Giants is one of my teams, so I'm going to have to go favor for them, but chances might be slim.
Right on. Yeah,
but you never know. You get a big upset by the Bills last week.
Well, again,
so.
and again, the Colts and the Titans are really trying to keep up with the Texans. They're hoping the Texans might bobble the couple of games at the end of the season, and if so, you'd have 3 teams tied up at the top, and in some of those tiebreaker schemes, one of those teams actually could wind up winning the division. So they're trying to actually win the last of their games. Jaguars at the Dolphins. The Jaguars are not in that hunt for a playoff spot, and they suck. So they're going to go to the Dolphins and lose that game.
Concur?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, there's not really much to contest right now.
No, not too much. Not too much.
Yeah, most of these games seem to be like a easy win for most of the teams.
For a lot of them, don't play too hard because you might need to come back next year.
Right.
Right. No injuries. We're on the way out.
Yeah.
No heroic moves here, guys.
In a pick that I'm sure you won't find very popular, Buffalo at New England. New England lost last week. I just don't see them dropping 2 in a row.
Gotta hope, though.
Yeah.
To give it to New England.
Yeah, New England's 14.5-point favorites in this game.
Yeah,
so, but anything can happen, especially in divisional games. It's happened before, so it could happen.
My dad lived on that kind of hope for a couple of years as a Panthers guy.
Well, see, I've been a Houston sports. I've been a Houston sports fan my whole life. Believe me, we have that written on our bottles while we're drinking them as babies. There's always hope. Packers at the Jets. Got the Pack.
Yeah, I'll go Packers.
Yeah, there's not much of a spread in this one, so everybody figuring that's going to be a tight game. Texans at the Eagles.
He's going to go Texans.
I got to go Texans.
Texans.
We're pushing for the playoff. We actually want to get the division and the bye. Right now, we're number 2 seed as things stands right now in the playoffs. We're hoping to hold on to that, and the Eagles, they're not all that this year. Falcons at the Panthers.
Falcons.
No,
you got to say it that way. I don't care which team you're talking about. That's how it's pronounced. It's Falcons.
I'm gonna take the Panthers only because it's a home game and neither one of these teams is really all that good. Although Matt Ryan's a pretty good quarterback. You got 2 good quarterbacks facing off as they do every single year, twice a season. This is another divisional game, so you never know. Rams at the Cardinals. I got Rams big.
Yeah.
They shouldn't even play the game. They should just step out, flip a coin for who wins. Bears at the 49ers. Bears actually have one of the better defenses in the league, and they won their division. I'm not sure how to pick it. They'll probably rest many of their starters, but I think they're so much better than San Francisco, they'll still take the game.
Yeah, I agree.
Steelers at the Saints. Probably the game of the week.
Yep.
Yeah. I got Saints.
Yeah, hard to argue that one.
Yeah, the Saints are at home. They're 6-point favorites. Kansas City at Seattle. This is another game of importance to both teams. Kansas City.
You guys said the Chiefs were going to win last week.
This could be a good game, too.
Yeah, the Chiefs are trying to hold on and win their division, but they had a bump in the road last week against the other LA
guy
team.
running 800 yards.
Yeah, so but I think the Chiefs will bounce back this week and beat the Seahawks. But the Seahawks are fighting for one of the last playoff spots. Yeah, so
I'm gonna go with Seattle just because I got relatives up there,
and that's no problem. I mean, because they're at home in Seattle, and that does make a difference there. Finally, the Monday night game will be Denver at Oakland. Oakland's really trying to tank so they can get high draft picks when they move to Las Vegas, and I got the Broncos in that one.
Me too.
Right on.
Brad Hewitt, New England lost Gordon. Does that make any difference in the Patriots game that you guys were talking about?
I don't know that it makes much of a difference. No, I think in this case, Belichick has this way of motivating his troops, especially after they lose a game. And I can't remember the last time New England actually dropped 2 in a row.
Oh, that's an interesting point.
Yeah.
That's almost worth looking up. Almost, but you know what? I'm lazy, so I'm not going to bother doing it. Just a note here, I don't know to what degree you were paying attention. I know that we talked about it last week when it looked like it was going to happen, but the president has signed off on the Farm Bill, and therefore cockfighting on Guam is now illegal. There's a federal offense to cockfight and to participate in it and to throw those games out there. And I might have, I think, in fact, I do have Donald Trump in some kind of Farm Bill parody that we might be able to scare up on the internet.
Acres is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
Oh, it's worse than the original. Worse than it. But Donald Trump, anyway, so that was some parody that he did on something once upon a time, and somebody thought. In fact, Donald Trump tweeted that. Donald Trump tweeted that with the video on it, so as a sign that he was going to be signing off on the farm bill. I don't know what else is in it. There might be some really, really good things in it, but this is going to be Rebenga. I got a feeling that this is going to be one of those deals that are going to have just everybody pissed off at the federal government between here and Puerto Rico and the NMI.
Yeah, I think the one thing that got it pushed through was the fact that now they have to start labeling GMO stuff.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that has been a huge concern for several years now, and so many people are happy about that. Real quick, local sports story from KUAM. I got it off the field, off the website this morning. GFA soccer field in Dedido. It was the JFK Islanders and the Harvest Eagles facing off for the IIAG High School Soccer League Championship. Yeah. And it was a second half comeback. Final score 3-1 with the JFK Islanders winning that game. Now that finishes a undefeated season, and JFK's Eddie Cho named championship game MVP. Consolation match featured Father Duenas Memorial School Friars beating the St. Paul Warriors 1-0. The sole goal there coming from Joseph Green.
Congratulations to everybody, and it looks like that's the end of their trip, right? That's the end of all of their stuff. Okay.
Yep, that's it.
And running with the Sharks tomorrow morning, go time 5 o'clock. And for those of you that are with the Unified Gym, they've set that up, the Unified Endurance Training for the marathon. I've signed up for it. A bunch of other people have signed up for it, just because it's nice to have somebody handle curated running and training process. And Dave's very good at that, and so is Levin. So I'm a part of that. And tomorrow is going to be kind of a time trial. So we'll be using that as a time trial in the race. So only thing that'll slow you down literally is there's a lot of corners in the race, so you're going to have to factor that in and make sure that you're pushing through that. If you can't make it, then get a hold of Dave and he'll tell you what the next big deal is going to be. It's 8:29, almost 8:30. Jane Dia is coming in from the Department of Agriculture in a second, so literally that's all the time that we've got for sports. But I want to say thank you very much, Renee, for coming in and keeping this chair warm for Blake Watson. I thought you did fantastic, and everybody, it's all of the pictures that I put up on Facebook, everybody's been liking, and
Are you going to keep taking pictures with Blake and posting about
No, I'm not. I only did that special for you, and there's so many people. There's at least one person that said, aha, new couple alert. Look, they're even wearing matching clothes. So I think Renee was very careful about making sure she didn't match with me.
I almost wanted to text you this morning, be like, what color are you wearing today?
What are you wearing? But anyway, I wanted to say thank you very much, and I thought, you shouldn't have had to have come in every single day for the last 7 days to do this without getting some kind of compensation and some kind of award. So I'm giving you the same thing that we are giving the folks that win the pick'ems. They're getting one of those, but you're getting the funky Renee colored one, and that is so it's a Bluetooth speaker system, and it's got a little charger port in it, so you can charge the phone while you're listening to your tunes on the phone. So that's
really nifty.
You're a really nifty person, and that's my way of saying thanks very much for coming in and filling in this spot for Blake. I really, really appreciate it, and next time he gets sick, I know I can call you, and you know that you're raring to go, right?
Yep.
And
anytime.
more pictures on Facebook and all of that. 8:31 in the morning. Thank you, Renee. And now headlines with Kevin coming up next.
Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Now you can start planning for the holidays by getting a personal Christmas loan from $1,000 up to $3,500. Family Finance has 3 convenient locations to serve you. Give them a call in Dedido, 633-4473, Hagåtña, 475-4545, and the Upper Tumon location on the 2nd floor of the Pacific Building at 647-5626. Get your Christmas loans today from Family Finance.
Convince her now to run with the Sharks tomorrow morning. We'll see what happens. It's 8:32 in the morning, and time now for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, 7 Chinese nationals who paid large sums for the promise of high-paying construction jobs on Saipan allege they suffered physical injuries while working on the Imperial Pacific International Casino. The lawsuit filed Monday in Saipan's district court against Gold Mantis Construction, Workers allege they suffered physical injuries while building the casino and were forced to work long hours below minimum wage under abusive and exploitive conditions. The lawsuit says Gold Mantis not only refused to take the injured workers to the hospital, but threatened them with arrest if they sought medical attention on their own. When the FBI began investigating various contractors on the casino project back in March of 2017, the lawsuit alleges that Gold Mantis managers then abandoned their workers, returned to China, leaving the workers unpaid in inadequate housing and without food and water. Governor's office has announced that Guam Memorial Hospital anticipates receiving an additional $12 million in Medicare reimbursement for the years 2014 through 2017. The additional funding follows a review by the federal contractor who validates all Medicare claims. Their conclusion that an additional $12 million in reimbursements is justified awaits final approval by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. GMH expects getting the funds in the first quarter of next year. President Donald Trump's decision to declare the day before Christmas, next Monday, a federal holiday does not apply to the U.S. Postal Service, according to Guam Postmaster Tammy Shonin. Shonin said that the mail delivery will continue as usual on Monday. Retail services at the post offices in Agana, Tamuning, and Barrigada will be available until noon. Package pickup windows at the Barrigada Post Office will remain open until 5 p.m., 3:30 at the Tamuning office, and 4 in the afternoon Monday at the Agana location. The president issued an executive order Wednesday declaring Monday a holiday for most federal employees, except for reasons of national security, defense, or other public need, which includes the U.S. Postal Service. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Okay, iConnect time. It's 8:34 in the studio. Thanks so much, Kevin. Have a good weekend. You going to run with the Sharks tomorrow?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was showtime.
For the marathon.
Go time at 6. But thanks very much for coming in. And it's always fun to watch what happens with the sports, but even more fun when you got Rene in the studio, right? You think we can get
we'll miss her.
We'll get Blake to dress up a little bit?
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. Portions of the program, this part, in fact, brought to you by iConnect, wanting you to win big during the holidays with their Connect and Win giveaway. Every new 12-month mobile, internet, and push-to-talk customer is automatically entered into a drawing for a vacay for 2 to Manila. Go to iConnectGuam.com for details.
Do you know someone who has difficulty following conversation in noisy places or turns up the TV a little too loud? These may be signs of a hearing loss. Ross Hearing Aids specializes in hearing evaluations, custom-fit hearing aids using the latest in wireless digital technology, and custom-fit hearing protectors. Call Ross Hearing Aids today to schedule a complimentary hearing consultation. 637-HEAR, 637-HEAR. Ross Hearing Aids, located across Shirley's in Harmon.
8:36 in the morning, and is there any kind of traffic today going on right now? It's one of those things where it's going to be up and down as usual. Second string traffic beginning to make their way in, so anticipate that there could be a couple of places where there's going to be slowing down. Don't see any major slowdowns right now, but that could change any minute. What with the weather that we've been having and some wet road conditions, so I'll keep an eye on it. You keep an eye on it as well. Right now, traffic at 8:36 here on The Point.
Bring joy to your world and your budget with a holiday loan from First Hawaiian Bank. At a low 4.99% APR, fixed for 1 year, it's a smart way to add ho-ho-ho without budget uh-oh. To apply for a holiday loan, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or FHB.com. For more information, call 1-877-640-2337. Additional restrictions apply. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Kind of Friday morning going on. Are there big stories? Is stuff to get worked up about? Yeah, another $12 million headed to Guam Memorial Hospital that they need fix up some things over there and certainly pay off some vendors, many of whom have already probably said, yeah, you guys are on cash terms right now. Interesting story about the Guam Solid Waste Authority and receivership likely to be extended. They just got no GM right now and got a couple of other people, but even they've got people lined up for the job. But even if they pressed a button on the contracts now, they wouldn't be able to get in here until the first of the year, and then you've got the training. I mean, even a COO has to get some kind of a training on that. The saga on Building E continues between the Department of Education and Guam Academy, and an interesting editorial in the Guam Daily Post about wanting more involvement in the commercial spaceport venture over at the Guam International Airport. And I don't know if you've been paying any kind of attention to that at all, but it is an interesting concept that they would take a 747 and strap a rocket to its wing, fly it up to about 30,000 feet, and then fire off the rocket. That's the way it's supposed to work. Don't you love science?
At our international airport, I love science.
At our,
yes.
yeah, at our international
That's
airport.
amazing.
That's what they're talking about doing, is turning that into some kind of a commercial venture with Virgin Atlantic. You know, the Richard Branson.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. So
the guy with all
why
of
not
the money in
Guam?
the world, and you know, if it looks like he's going to pay for a whole lot of it, that will be fine. A couple of notes here on the Facebook Live before we get into the conversation with Jane. I see my classmate Henry Gonzalez is there, Debbie Ratoyan, Chris Watson, Evan Muntvo, Cohen, Brad Hewitt, and we were talking about fun things to do. Festival kind of deals. You know, every town has got some place or something to do at one time of the year where people will start drinking at 8 o'clock in the morning, and before you know it, before the end of the day, everybody is wearing a lot fewer clothes than they started with. I'm talking about the Gasparilla Festival in Tampa, Mardi Gras as an example, in some cases, and sometimes our own liberation festivities here on Guam. So, Brad chiming in, he's talking about tubing on the Guadalupe or Frio River in Texas. You put a cooler in its own tube and tether it to the main tube, and then you just kind of mosey through the river.
So that's the big event?
Well, wait, for Brad, that was one of his things. So what about you? What's yours?
Well, I mean, the talk about Japan, like Cherry Blossom Festival, I've always wanted to go there. I think that's cool.
I don't think that's the same kind of booze festival thing that we're talking about here. You know, I'm thinking, you know, like, what did you do in college when everybody said, well, like spring break? Where'd you go?
Palm Springs.
Palm Springs. What actually?
Or
to Palm
Lake Havasu.
Lake. I've never been to the Lake Havasu.
Houseboat.
But see, houseboat. See, this is all. This is the kind of. I missed this. I'm born and raised around here, so we've never actually had those kinds of activities. But it sounds like crazy fun, where everybody brings 18 different kinds of liquor and beer and wine and just, you know, goes crazy for a couple of days, right?
It's a college kind of activity, so
Yeah.
there was a lot of mayhem.
So you don't generally do that now.
No, there's no houseboat here.
We just need one. We just need one houseboat. The voice that you're hearing is Jane. Her microphone is on, and that means that you can see her on the screen from the Department of Agriculture. We spent some time with her last week as we were moving our way into the Pig Derby, and so I wanted to get kind of a follow-up opportunity with you to talk about how great the 8th annual Pig Derby was.
Oh yeah, it's always great. So our number one issue is a safe hunt. So there were no incidents reported. So we're
Nobody got shot. Nobody
thankful.
shot themselves. That's great news.
Isn't that great?
Yes. So they're completely safe.
Yeah, so then there were 2 categories of winners. And so I was going to read off our firearms, most pigs winners here.
You know, I've done it a couple of times already, but for folks, but for people that haven't had a chance to hear it, go ahead. It's Friday, celebration.
So we have under firearms, first place, Sean Martinez with 13 pigs. Second place, Edward Tatao, 11 pigs. Third place, Cameron Mantanonia, 8 pigs. And because there was a tie, they had to count the time. So the last of the eighth pig came in at 10:55 a.m. Also, archery, first place, most pigs. We have first place, Cameron Tatao, 8 pigs. Second place, Peter Duenas, 6 pigs. And third place, Felix Kwan with 4 pigs.
So I only know one Peter Duenas, and he is the boss over at Mescla.
That's correct.
That's him. And
yes.
I knew he was a bow hunter. I knew that was one of his things.
Exactly, yeah. So he did an awesome job. So that was really
good. Second place honors for Chef Peter, and then he also got a nod for the largest pig.
That's right.
185 pounds.
I don't have that. Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've got. So now there's a breakdown by Czech villages: Manglona, Jigo, and Telefofo. So this gives me an indication of which of the villages had the most participants, or which north, central, south.
That's true. So Manila and I believe Telefofo had the same. So we had the same participants. I believe it was 16.
Okay, and so Ed Tatautau, Maurice Ibanez, Cameron Tatautau, Kai Lizama, and Peter Duenas representing Manglona, or that part of the island. Telefofo, I guess we'll call that central. Telefofo is Sean Martinez, Tano Lizama, Ed Castro, and Jake St. Nicholas. And then we've got Jigo Northern, so as you might imagine, they're more populated, so it would be a little bit heavier in terms of participation, right?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
And that was a list of the ones that did harvest pigs. So there were other participants.
Oh, that didn't?
Yes.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay. So, all right. And this is kind of in order. So Cameron Montanonia and Alex Quintanilla with 8 pigs apiece. Then you've got John Jackson, Ed Santos, Paul Carbazito, Richard Woodrum, Vic St. Nicholas, Francisca Kwan, Ray Evangelista. I think I know him. Jerome Michel. Is that right? Yeah, Mitchell and Felix Kwan for a total of 30 pigs coming out of the north end of town. And I'm looking here, is this Francisca Kwan. Is that a girl?
Well, we did have a few female hunters and runners.
Yeah, because that's what I'm not seeing here. Is I'm looking at the names for the firearms and the archeries, top 3 in each category is a bunch of guys. Where's the girls with the guns and the bows and arrows?
Well, we didn't want to have a female only category just because that all hunters are hunters, so it doesn't really count on gender. And so that was something that we did discuss, but yeah, we normally don't do that kind of distinction.
But if we distinctioned it, would that not, and having a separate category where they were competing in their own, do you think that would encourage more women to come out?
So we were.
Because there's chicks with guns. I've seen them.
Well, we've been developing activities for females. So we're doing a Being an Outdoors Woman this summer that will teach women the basics of hunting safety. And so hopefully that they would be able to participate. But for the numbers, because we had to go with like the past numbers of females, we wanted to make sure if we had that division that it would be enough there that would be a competition. Not just you're the only female coming out.
Congratulations, you win
and
all
you
the
get
prizes.
all right. So it's something
Here's
that
the Michael
we do.
Kors hunting vest.
And and also the junior division. That's something too that we discussed because there were some juniors that participated.
Yeah.
So Cameron is, I believe, at least 13 by now.
Oh, neat.
So we have junior hunters as well.
Cameron Tatautau, and I'm wondering, is this father-son team? Is Ed the dad?
The grandfather. So I believe. So yeah, but they've been participating number of years. So Cameron's got first place this year. So we're very grateful that we had some juniors just keeping in the competition all these years.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just got a note from somebody. I thought he was going to be talking about hunting. It's my friend Yoich, who says he's sitting at the Penthouse Hotel's restaurant in Palau.
Well, I love that place.
You know it, right?
Yeah.
Having breakfast and watching and listening to the show. For lunch, I will be going to Yano's to get me a couple of baby parrot fried fish
You
and
got to do
taro.
it. I love Yano's
You've
too.
been.
Yes,
You've been.
that's the
isn't that
place.
Great?
It is.
Like everything. If they don't have it, you don't need it. That's my favorite thing about Yano's. But Penthouse, the breakfast over at Penthouse,
I know,
is to die for, and the lunch over at Penthouse. And my favorite thing when I get down there, and so we can talk about this because agriculture, and she also does fishing stuff. Is they've got the parrotfish. They do this fried parrotfish there.
Oh yes,
it's incredible. You want to eat all of it.
Yes, the parrotfish in Palau is just amazing.
Yeah. It's there's pretty much everything in Palau is amazing.
That's true.
I have found. Yeah. That's the neat trick. Anyway, so getting back to the pig derby here. So we've gone out, we've bagged all the pigs. They're all cleaned up and given to somebody at this point, right?
It's true. They're all donated. So we had a lot of people call in from your show. So thank you so much for that opportunity.
Oh, yeah, great.
So they signed up for like Jigo or Talafofo office, and we just had people come pick up the pigs, or they were delivered. So they were all donated. So they're done for the season.
Sweet.
So we're not keeping them
in some kind of deep chill right now, and I'm sure that under certain palapalas and in kitchens this weekend, there are going to be pigs that are going to get eaten that are the results of this derby.
Yes, yeah. So the Christmas dinners and fiestas. So, but we also plan for a pork in the park every year after the pig derby. So this year's a little bit different. So the pigs will not be saved for the pork in the park this year.
Right.
We have a new date announcement. So April 6th.
April?
For Earth Month,
okay,
in
but
recognition of Earth Month.
But it's April. It's January, February, March, and then April. So we're like all the way deep into we're starting the second quarter.
Yeah, so it's a good opportunity for another special hunt.
I'm not going to say anything because we're also the radio station group that is going to be having our Christmas party probably in Valentine's. I think they're going to be that close to each other. Because all the pool places are booked already. But you guys
are booked.
Where you're going to do it at the governor's office?
We were going to try Tomorrow Village for the first time, but we were told it's under construction. So we will not be using Tomorrow Village if it's not ready.
What could they possibly be constructioning down there?
We didn't ask, but
I mean, they've already we already have the huts. We've already got the little village over there. So I'm curious as to what else they might be doing. I'll see what I can find out. So where did you say it's going to be?
EPAL.
Okay, EPAL's fine.
Yeah,
the
so
Governor Joseph Flores Memorial Park.
Park.
Yeah, I got to do that. Otherwise, Phil is listening and he's going to call in and say, "That's my grandfather's park. You got to use the name every time you do it. Got to do it at least once in the beginning, and then after that, you can call it EPAL Beach all you want to after that."
Right.
So April
6th. It's a Saturday. So we thought that
where are you going to get the pigs for that one? If we've given them all away here.
Well, that's why it's a great opportunity for another hunt. So we're going to try to structure it a little bit different, maybe not the full on 2 days, but something different other than offering the most pigs. But I didn't even go through the planning committee with this yet. But I had some...
Everybody's surprised on Fridays. That's great.
Suggestions from our counterparts, our California Hunter Ed program, that having weights on a piece of paper and hunters that bring them in, whoever's closest to that weight on the paper would win the prize. So then that way, it's just not most pigs. And so because we want those pigs to be used for pork in the park.
Yeah, so you might want to skill it a little bit.
Yes.
So you say, all right, we're not going for numbers here. We're going for a certain kind of pig, certain weight of pig, because we want to feed a lot of people with it.
Yes. So we're going to go ahead and try that out.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's obviously one way to do it, or just get a whole bunch of guys out there with guns and go shooting at pigs and do the archery thing. And bring as many as... Now, how many pigs are you going to need for a pork in the park?
Well, we would like at least 6 cooking teams, 6 to 10 cooking teams.
Okay, so that means we need a good number of pigs, maybe a couple of dozen, right?
Right, so we need some good pigs. This year, we would like to encourage the hunters to also participate in the cooking aspect part.
Oh, that'd be all right.
Yeah.
For some, I might imagine, like Peter Duenas.
I know. We're trying to figure that out.
How do we do? Because he's got a little bit of an unfair advantage, considering he's got an entire kitchen and a staff of people that already know how he likes things.
Well,
and gazillion recipes.
You're on staff. Kevin Uggan is awarded the People's Choice.
That's right.
So there are different categories for pork in the park winners. So there's pit and pot. So a team cannot win more than one category. So it's open.
So the pit would be like cooking it over a fire, some kind of barbecue, whatever, dig a hole in the ground, that kind of thing if you want to. And then you've got pot, which is something that is going to be cooking, simmering, souping.
Yes, like chili.
Interesting. So if I wanted to become, as you point out, Kevin is going to probably join again this year. But for everybody else, how do you join?
Well, you can call and get your name on the list. So 735-0294 or 735-3981. And you can put your name.
Is there a pay? Do I have to pay?
It's all free.
Hey.
So we're very fortunate because this program is under the Guam Hunter Education Program, and it's 100% federally funded. And so we're able to run this event and have it for free.
Kaz Endo, who can see connections where most people cannot, is reminding me online that Kaz says 2019 is the year of the pig.
Wow, that's
major connection there.
Thanks for that.
Japanese hunters make tonkatsu in the wild. I did not know that. And Kaz and I have actually spent time in Okinawa, and in Okinawa they are famous among all of the different Asian communities. Famous for what they do with pig, with all of the pig, the ear and the snouts and the pork belly. And the different kinds of soups that you can make with the pork bellies. Excellent stuff
then we
there.
should have someone
So
from
Kaz,
Okinawa.
maybe Kaz ought to come out and compete in something like this, because got Okinawan blood and all of that stuff. 8:52 in the morning. So 6 to 10 groups. It's free to enter, but I imagine that you would need to bring everything that you need to cook with.
Yes, we provide the plates and utensils to pass out the samples.
And then, so who's going to be judging? Do we have? Do you line up a number of judges? How are the competitors going to be judged?
Well, in the past, we have invited chefs from different hotels and private companies, restaurants. So I believe last year we had about 12 judges.
All right.
So that was pretty good.
All right,
Yeah,
and judging
they're
in both
professionals.
in both categories.
Yes, all
right.
categories. So People's Choice is just we count up the number of entries from the People's Choice, and that's how we get People's Choice.
And that's how Kevin has won year after year after year, because everybody likes it. He's got a couple of different skills that he puts to work here at the radio station. Kevin Uggan, of course, from Pitbull Enterprises, but there are other things that he and Janae do for all kinds of fun. So I want you to check that out. Now, there's a couple of other things in my head as I'm thinking about it. One of them is I'd like to participate in something like this next year. And so, as you know, because we went through the process together, she was like, okay, well, do you have a gun permit? And I said, yes, I do. And she says,
Firearms ID.
But your firearms ID is expiring. So, but I got it renewed.
Yeah,
I know
that's
it, which is
step.
You know what's cool is because it's a concealed carry permit, and they say I'm allowed I can conceal my shotgun. I don't know how, but it says that I can carry my shotgun concealed. But the truth is, I don't own a shotgun.
Well, also, if it's posted anywhere that no firearms are allowed, that supersedes your concealed carry. So if you're on a university campus and it's posted that no firearms are allowed, then you have to obey that.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway,
So just to let you know.
Yeah, I heard. But anyway, so how, besides, because I'm not a hunter, I've done it before, boy from Guam, but I'm not what I would consider a hunter. I don't know the steps, I don't know the skills, I don't know all of the things that real hunters, these guys here that participated, know. Well, how do I learn that so I can better compete?
Great. We didn't set the dates yet, but we're going to offer basic hunter safety classes, and we have 4 lined up for this year. So you could call the same number, 735-0294 or 735-3981, and get your name on the list. So it's a free class, but it is a 12-hour class. And so we take you from all the different aspects of hunting, the basics part. So, like, we won't necessarily take you out on a hunt. Like, those are advanced hunting clinics that we would do those kinds of activities. But the basic safety class would teach you what you need: firearm safety, archery safety, but also game care, first aid survival, wildlife identification, hunter ethics.
Well, I should be able to do that. That's a pig. That's a deer. That's a bird.
What kind of bird?
Flying one.
Yeah.
White one.
So yeah, we're very fortunate.
What happened? What have I got? Let me just see if I got somebody over there lined up. Do I? Yes, it's Ray on the subject of hunting. Good morning, Ray.
Hey, buddy.
Hey. You're on with Jane Deere from the Department of Agriculture. We're talking about hunting. Let's go.
Half a day.
Yeah, I know. I know. Actually, Jane and I are connected, just like you and I.
She's your classmate from the Father Dueñas class of '80?
Yeah.
No.
Hey, but I was listening to you guys, and you talked about shotgun and hunting and stuff. I would like to take you out, man, and shoot a big deer and maybe some pigs.
Okay, let's go. But I think I need the basic hunter safety course first.
Yes, that would be good. Well, so Ray's my mentor. He's the one doing some Black Franklin scouting site visits with me. So we're trying to establish that, bringing back that Franklin hunting.
The bird hunting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Game bird. The safety class, though, I do recommend first. So we're want to offer it like January, February, March, and April. So one each month. So
And that would be mostly classroom until I go into the advanced? Is that what you said?
This coming up class, we're incorporating a field time, but you will not be using firearms for that. So in our basic hunter safety class, we don't have live fire, but we do have other implements that we use. So we have an airsoft. We can do target practice.
That's just teasing. What a tease.
But it's a class about 30 plus individuals.
Yeah.
So it was the basic hunter safety class was made to just lay foundations of hunting.
And you don't want a class that big, people running around with guns. There could be some interesting safety questions that arise.
Right, but it's a hunter safety class. It's not a how to hunt class.
Okay, when's the how to hunt class?
So we haven't determined that yet, but that's why we're working on an advanced clinic for game bird.
Okay.
So that in my planning, I would like that one first.
All right, Ray, have you gone hunting with Jane?
Recon, not hunting.
Recon.
Shooting, shooting, not hunting. But yeah, I would take you to do the real time hunting, but it's a good idea to first get the hunter safety course because really there's a lot to know about being out there in the jungle.
All right, I've only got about a minute left for the rest of this conversation, Ray. So I'm going to let you run here, but because there's an interesting thought that just pops in my head, and one of them is this could be something that we could bring in hunters from around the world to participate in. Arguably, we might be able to find some Japanese that want to shoot guns and shoot things, and have some kind of tourism game tourism here with the Koreans and the Japanese and the Russians when they want to come around. Is that something that somebody's pondered?
I think that it's great for private business.
Yeah, right? Right? I think that could be fun. And so the blaze orange shirt and blaze orange hat, that's among the next things I need to get if I'm going to go hunting with you, right?
Definitely.
Gotcha. Jane Dia from the Department of Agriculture. It's a pleasure having you in here. And as we get closer and closer to the Pig in the Park event in the Year of the Pig, we'll be in touch.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Merry Christmas to you as well. 8:59 and change the radio station is KUSG Gutnia. And on that sort of note, a reminder that effective just a couple of hours ago, cockfighting on Guam is now a federal offense. They passed and signed the Farm Bill, ladies and gentlemen. Stand by for Fox News Live. Maybe they'll talk about that there.
This is a Fox News alert. Another change in the Trump administration. I'm Lisa Lacera. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis announcing he's retiring. A letter to President Trump released a short time ago.
Secretary Mattis says here, because you have the right to have a Secretary of Defense whose views are better aligned with yours on these and other subjects. He's referring to the issue of alliances and the U.S. role in the world and the role of the U.S. military in the world. I believe it is right for me to step down from my position. The end date for my tenure is February 28th, 2019.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon is coming just after it was announced that the president is seriously considering what's being called a significant drawdown of U.S. troops in Afghanistan. Just yesterday, the president announced a complete drawdown of troops in Syria. About 24 hours ago, it looked like a done deal, but it's back to the drawing board as lawmakers are nearly down to the wire to try to avoid a government shutdown. Fox's Gernal Scott following the story live.
Lisa, $5 billion for a border wall is the linchpin at the center of the battle to keep government open. Alabama Republican Bradley Burns says the purpose of a border wall is very clear.
This is about the safety and security of the American people. This is about keeping terrorists out of our country.
But Massachusetts Democrat Jim McGovern argues this expensive wall likely won't work.
I don't know of a wall that's ever been built where people haven't climbed over or dug under.
The president said he would not sign a continuing resolution without wall funding, which brings a government shutdown closer to reality, Lisa.
Gernal, another day of red ink on Wall Street as investors worry that global economic growth is cooling off.
The Dow touched a 14-month low, closing down 464 points. The S&P 500 treading fresh ground, down 39 points, and the NASDAQ Composite down 108 points.
Jared Willis with the Fox Business Network. This is Fox News.
Boldly styled, meticulously refined. The 2019 ES350 features a longer, wider stance and a sleek coupe-like silhouette inherited from the flagship LS. The ES350 offers an ultimate level of comfort, while cutting-edge engineering delivers a thrilling drive. Visit the Lexus showroom today at Atkins Kroll during the December to Remember sales event. Drive home a 2019 ES350 for 0 down and 1.99% APR for 60 months. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details. Experience amazing.
Cheers to 80 years. It's our 80th anniversary and the gifts are on us. 80 gift certificates, 8 shopping sprees, 8 staycations, and 1 round trip flyaway for 2 to Manila. So how do you enter? Calvo's Insurance personal home and auto customers are automatically entered. Non-Calvo's customers may enter by receiving a qualified quote. It's our way of saying thank you for trusting us for the past 80 years. For more details, visit calvos.com/giveaway or call 472-6816. Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years.
A Pennsylvania pediatrician charged with assaulting more than 24 children. Fox's Steve Radparvar has more live.
Lisa, Dr. Johnny Bartow pleaded guilty today to sexually abusing 2 family members. The 71-year-old also admitting to assaulting more than 24 patients. The abuse spanning decades mostly involved kids between ages 8 and 12. His youngest victim, only 2 weeks old. Bartow remains locked up while awaiting sentencing, and his medical license is suspended. Bartow's lawyer says the plea will allow the victims, Bartow's family, and the doctor himself to begin healing. Lisa.
Steve, Mexico agreeing to a proposal by the U.S. to let immigrants from other countries remain in or be returned to Mexico while their claims for asylum in the U.S. are being processed. The decision is historic for Mexico, which has traditionally refused to accept the return of any migrants who aren't Mexican. The holiday travel rush is underway, but bad weather in much of the country could make for serious delays.
46 million people who are expected to fly this holiday period, and they're probably going to be delayed by the weather. You got big windy storms on the West Coast, stretching from Northern California up into the state of Washington. Big windy storms on the East Coast. You might even have some tornadoes in the southeast portion of the state. Also, the ground out there is already saturated, so AccuWeather says that some coastal flood watches are in effect as a result of these rains, and the rain's going to go all the way up into big transportation hubs like D.C., New York, Boston. So keep an eye on your apps. That's really the best way to learn about the flight delays, even though you usually learn about them after you're already in the airport.
Fox's Mike Tobin at Chicago's O'Hare Airport. Rapper Travis Scott reportedly in talks to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show in Atlanta. The Associated Press reporting Scott is close to signing on to perform at Super Bowl 53 on February 3rd at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I'm Lisa Lacera, and this is Fox News.
There's a reason every day a Guam homeowner is getting a solar system installed by Micronesia Renewable Energy. It's because MRE is the most trusted name in solar. With more solar energy solutions than any other solar company on island, homeowners have a choice to go solar for 0 money down or take the path to ownership. Whichever way, it keeps our skies blue and your pockets green. And with the most experienced solar technicians and an energy production guarantee, there are no worries. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
Wait, there's talking. I have to do talking on the radio again. It's 5 after 9 o'clock in the morning, 888-8255. Keep that number handy if you want to get into some of these conversations. If you're just going, Ray, could you tell me where to go eat lunch today? King's is where you go. They got the crazy menu over at King's. It's the crazy holiday menu. They are in full swing. Delicious lunch, dinner, appetizers, and all kinds of other stuff with seasonal flavors that you are going to love. In fact, things that you generally only get this time of year, like cranberry sauce and turkey and some of those things. They've incorporated them into their crazy holiday menus that you're going to find over at King's these days. And since you don't get turkey all the time, they've got like 7 combos that you can have turkey with something else. And they're basically regular combo meals. They're already like protein heavy with all kinds of stuff, bone-in ham steak, chopped ham, shrimp, tinalakutni, lumpia, all of those things. And then they say, oh yeah, here's some turkey. And we'll just make it holiday-y that way. So that's what's up. Holiday combos, all day, all holiday combos, just $12.99 at King's. Isn't that crazy?
Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Now you can start planning for the holidays by getting a personal Christmas loan from $1,000 up to $3,500. Family Finance has 3 convenient locations to serve you. Give them a call in Dededo, 633-4473, Hagåtña, 475-4545, and the Upper Tumon location on the 2nd floor of the Pacific Building at 647-5626. Get your Christmas loans today from Family Finance.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by American President Lines. They're shipping the future Micronesia renewable energy. There's never been a better time to go solar. Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for your open heart surgical needs. And, of course, the guys over at American Water Tech. Smarter water, better water.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
You know, the scary thing with Wendy's commercials is this may actually be the last time that I get a chance to read it because, you know, they come in with these specials and they're for a limited time only and only while they've got the goods to make it. So it's possible from any one live read time to the next, this could be the last time you get to hear about the bacon maple chicken sandwich over at Wendy's. There it is. There's the ingredient walking right across the speakers. The bacon maple chicken sandwich, hot, crispy, home-style chicken fillet, or fillet, I like to say, topped with Swiss cheese, applewood smoked bacon, or bacon, as I like to say, drizzled with a sweet and savory maple glaze. Try that in between a warm and fluffy croissant bun for a limited time at Wendy's. Quality is their recipe.
The Coconut Wireless is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Any speaker, anytime. On demand at thepoint.gu.
People are going to get seasick watching Facebook Live this morning, trying to adjust the camera for maximum pretty here. Where are we? At 9 after 9 o'clock in the morning. And I warned you, I told you it was going to be one of those mornings. Just an unstoppable train of beauty and brains, starting with Benita Manglona from the CFO over at Guam Memorial Hospital. And then we had Rene Logie in here talking about sports, mostly football. But, yeah, we got a little other sports stuff in the way. And then you just replaced in that chair Jane Dia, who is with the Department of Agriculture in charge of the pig hunting derby that we just had, and the pig in the park cooking competition that's going to be taking place in April. Yeah. So and now in the studio, as I continue the beauties and brains, not booty and brains, beauty and brains portion of the program. Lady I've watched grow up practically, Jessica Murati. Say it.
Radparvar.
Radparvar.
Yeah.
And real close to the microphone. I want people to be able to hear the smile in your voice as you talk about some things that are important to you. And I thought, an interesting segue to get into this conversation about sustainability is a story on USA Today. Ancient Antarctic ice sheet collapse could happen again, triggering a new global flood. And some people will look at that and say that there are issues with climate change that may be bringing that shift there in the Antarctic ice sheets closer to collapse faster. And no, you can't just nod on the radio. You got to give me actual words.
Yeah, it's been a rough year. I think, in the U.S. and in Europe, we experienced one of the warmest summers on record, and a number of really pivotal reports came out stating that, it seems very apocalyptic. It's like the world's ending. You hear these different major
heard from
storms.
Some millennial that said that she did no point to living because the end is near. And
it's tough. It's been a rough year. Sometimes you're reading these reports and it really seems hopeless. And I find a lot of hope though. I've been working in the sustainability and social impact space for most of my career. Yeah. And I see business as actually being a huge lever for change.
Well, I know another
so
Marathi at the Bank of Guam that says that's going to be a major function of the Bank of Guam moving forward into 2019, and there are many plans that they have for as we start talking about just bank business, saying, okay, what's the sustainability angle on this? Every project has got to have, every discussion has got to have a sustainability angle to it. So if we're talking about new computers, all right, fine, we'll get some new computers for the third floor. What are we going to do with the old computers? Right? How do we repurpose or recycle those so that we don't have we don't actually become a drain on the environment?
Yeah, exactly. It's that type of creative thinking where you find these win-win situations where, okay, maybe we can get these old computers and we can donate them to schools, or we can take the parts and use them for other things. It's really a driver of innovation. And I think that's the space that I play in, and also the space that I get excited about.
So I am what you would refer to as a change denier.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Just one of those guys. I need an overwhelming. It's got to hit me on the head.
Okay.
So, but it doesn't mean that I'm ignorant to some of those clues that you were talking about. They just had a major super typhoon up in Saipan in the CNMI, and is it possible that the storm conditions there, winds now that they have verified, Chip Gard has verified, up around 200 miles an hour, and is it possible that we are seeing those extra gusts, extra wind speeds as a result of certain climactic changes that are going on that are preventable?
Preventable, that's a tricky question. I think, a lot of the conversation has shifted to adaptation at this point. But, one of the big reports that came out this year.
How do we adapt? I mean, if it turns into one of these situations like we were talking about from USA Today, with an entire ice sheet from Antarctica coming away from the continent, floating someplace where it will melt, how much additional water is going to make it so that parts of Pappy's Beach are unusable down south, right?
Yeah. It's a tricky question and looks very different from place to place. But I was going to say that there's a big global movement that includes many countries, unfortunately at the moment, not as much our own. But most countries in the world agree that this is a serious issue, and that if the world comes together, and also the business community comes together to reduce their own emissions, then we can prevent this collapse that we were speaking about before.
I try to think about it individually, and to as much as I can. I'm not going to say that I'm super conscious of my carbon diet and my carbon footprint, but there are things that I try to do. I don't use. I've got a reusable cup for just about everything that I've got. But the problem is that I don't have as yet a clean water system at the house. So I buy my water in bottles and use that to make the coffee that goes into this. So I'm not doing it right, but I'm thinking in that direction. I think one of the bigger problems that we have is this addiction that we've got to plastics. I think there's something that really needs to be done with that. I don't know where you are on incineration and looking at plastics and trash as renewables. I do. Let me get one more use out of that and turn that into electricity, right? It's okay?
No,
it's not.
Well, I think there are a lot of different ways to reuse plastic, and one way that I'm quite familiar with
burn
is
it, make electricity, make cheap electricity,
or turn it into fibers that can be used to make clothes. My background's in the fashion industry, and there's a big push to get certain materials out of waste, like plastic.
Yes.
Then you run into some other issues, though, like microplastics in the ocean when those clothes are when laundered. It's all a matter of trade-offs.
Wow.
And I think when you think about sustainability, everybody's on a journey. Consciousness is the first step. So just even being conscious of personal plastic footprint.
There was a thing, I want to say the Navy was doing this for a long time, and I think there are other places that are doing it as well, where they take, they collect up all of the little bottles for sodas and waters and things like that, juices, and collect them up, and then they put them in a machine that melts them, and then the plastic that comes out of that can be molded into pretty much anything, and repurposed, use them, I don't want to say tires or anything like that, but I know that they were making something that looked like plank wood. except it was all weird colors because it was, all the different colors of the rainbow that the plastic come in. But you could paint it and you could turn that into park benches. You could actually use that in some degree of construction because it's plastic. It's tough and designed to stay tough for a very long time and not biodegrade. So it's something that we knew that would have some kind of secondary life. And so in terms of recycling, I mean, I'd like to see a plant like that here on Guam that just turns it out, and the guys from here that would be able to buy these planks in various sizes and be able to use them for whatever, construction, recreation, all of those kinds of things. So it's getting that mechanism in place, isn't it? That machine, somebody's got to buy and install and maintain that machine.
It's an investment opportunity.
You know what? I've actually looked into it on Alibaba and some of the sites, but right now a little bit further away than my pay grade will allow for. But I'd like to be able to do that. I mean, we know that, and in fact, there's every other woman in your age group living on Guam now that has discovered red wine. It comes in bottles, and what happens with the bottles when they're empty? And the only answer I've got right now is you take these little pretty LED lights and you stick them in there, and you use them as decorations at get-togethers.
I mean, when you think about recycling, there's upcycling, so turning the product into something that has more value, and downcycling, so kind of its second use has lower value. And so I think whenever we can think about these solutions that are upcycling solutions, so turning waste into a beautiful home decoration.
And the downcycling that we've been a part of for years. I was reading about this last week, and further to the conversation about why maybe incineration might be a better idea for certain trashes and plastics is because there does not seem to be as big of a market now for some of these things that we would normally recycle and turn into other things. And China is not buying as much of it anymore, and they're not buying certainly a lot of paper anymore because it costs too much now for them to clean, to bleach, and to turn into something that can be reused again as a raw product. And so people are saying, well, gee, then what do I do with it? What's happening with all of the waste that is being, the curbside recycled here on Guam? Are we just storing that? Is that going into another cell, which, defeats the purpose of having recycling?
Yeah. So then reducing use becomes...
Also,
if we can, to the extent we can.
Yeah, also tricky. I'm one of those guys, I save up my cardboard boxes because there's stuff in the back that I want to burn. And so I save up all my cardboard boxes. When I've got a whole bunch of them, I take it to like tree stumps and things like that and say, okay, let's burn for an hour and see what we can do with that. Those are just, the way of getting into the conversation to talk about how to build sustainability into your business. And you're going to be conducting a workshop on that.
Yeah. So I had the chance to come back to Guam in April to speak at the UOG Center for Island Sustainability Conference. And it was just a tremendous event. I had so many conversations with people who, were incredibly knowledgeable about local issues and who also desire kind of more of a skill set around particularly sustainable business, which has been my focus for the past 10 years. And so this workshop is intended to be a bit of a continuation of that conversation and really focused on turning ideas into a very practical, actionable plan for integrating sustainability into business, whether you're a big company or you're kind of one of
I got how many people here? A dozen? I think I got a dozen employees here, and we try to be conscious about that kind of thing. It's not the overarching deal, but as a small business like mine with 11, 12 employees under our belt, what should some of our sustainability? I mean, what's the low hanging fruit of sustainability in a small shop like this?
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of low-hanging fruit, probably doing an energy audit to identify ways that you can reduce energy use in the office, and that's one of those really great win-win situations that I was mentioning before, where you both save on your power bill and you save on your carbon emissions, and the UOG Center for Island Sustainability has many resources, and they do a lot of outreach around that. But I think that, if companies really want to look holistically at their impact, it first requires thinking about what their purpose for being is. And I think there was a famous TED Talk by someone named Simon Sinek, let's start with why. And his kind of idea, and he also wrote a book about it, and his idea is that, a lot of people talk about what they do. They may even talk about how they do it, but why actually do they do that? Why are they in business? And if you can articulate that.
Increase shareholder value.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the 20th century answer to
so
that.
the
But I think the
21st
21st century answer to that is that previously maybe
by the way, I'm from the 20th
value.
century, so I'm allowed.
Well, I think previously there was the thought that your investors, if you were in business, then your investors ran the show, and now there's a number of different stakeholders that are as important. So you have obviously your consumers, your employees, NGO groups that are in your kind of orbit or your ecosystem, and even investors are becoming more conscious and are demanding that sustainability be incorporated into your business more from a risk perspective than anything. And so I think definitely the reason for being has evolved a little bit. That conversation has evolved. I'm hopeful.
Yeah,
Again, I come from a very optimistic point of view, and I'm very hopeful about this.
What that requires
you
is
do see movement.
Yeah, what that requires is that means I have to evolve a little bit as well. So there does definitely have to be an upside. So when we start talking about these win-win situations, I will evolve faster if somebody says that, hey, if you go down this sustainability path, this can reduce some of your overhead costs by X percent, and then it will begin to click in my head that this makes sense. So I don't know what I would have to stop and think about all of the different models and methods that we use here at the radio station to determine where I might find a sustainability trigger that I can pull, if you know what I mean. For the most part, we're in the electronics communications industry, and that means somewhere on a hill is a transmitter that is sucking electricity in big numbers from the Guam Power Authority, and we've done what we can to purchase the most efficient transmitters that we can use. We've placed, in fact, our transmitters in areas on the island where we can get what I like to think is better coverage for fewer kilowatts. And we did that for economic reasons, but at the end of it, may I also say that there are sustainability reasons behind
100%.
that. Yeah, right? Because I'm not using as much electricity, and that's less the oil that we have to put at the Power Authority and all that.
Yeah.
So I'm already doing it. I've already evolved a little bit there.
It's incredible. It's exciting.
I wasn't planning on that. We just did it because it would be cheaper that way.
And I think that you'll find, and when companies kind of take a step back and look across their operations, there are all sorts of these efficiencies that can be reaped.
Well, give me a few more examples. I mean, maybe not a company like my size, but there's others, larger NGOs that you were talking about. What's the brainstorming that goes into finding these sustainability triggers?
Yeah. So I think the first step is really to look based on your industry at what the common impact areas are, and these are impact areas across various dimensions. Environmental sustainability being one, but also social sustainability. So thinking about how you're treating your employees, thinking about if you're sourcing a lot of
I treat you guys
product.
good, right? Don't I? Don't I treat you good?
We got an eye roll in the back.
Yeah, because I'm a pussycat.
But even thinking about if you're a business that sources a lot of product, thinking about human rights along the supply chain. So if you are an apparel company, who's cutting and sewing those products, making sure you're working with factories that have
it
good
puts a
working
lot of rails
conditions.
for me to it's adding more rails for me as I make my decisions on where I'm going to get my supplies, where I'm going to find the utilities that I need for my business.
Yeah, it does.
So do I have to become
narrow
a
the
social justice
choice.
warrior? Do I get a T-shirt? Birkenstocks?
So long as the T-shirt's sustainably made. I mean, it all depends.
It'll be a hemp T-shirt.
I think a big part of this, though, is looking across all of your impact areas, looking at what's possible for you to change, because a lot of things, it's not necessarily within your scope of influence to change. And then kind of identifying and having a conversation with your company about, okay, how do we want to address this? How do we want, what do we stand for? And how do we want to, make these decisions? Some of them will be harder than others, but how do we want to operate in a way that we feel comfortable with.
I don't have to do them all at the same time, right? I mean,
No.
I'm slowly evolving here because,
No.
like you said, I'm from the 20th century. So it'll take me a second to get from just find things that are cheaper and easier on the economy to now I've got to start worrying about who made the T-shirts that I'm giving away at the Liberation Carnival.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of us are blissfully ignorant, though. You know, if we don't know as much about what goes into the products that we consume, it's easy to, you know, choose the cheapest option. But once we start to open the door into that and learn more about it, then, it's the consciousness raising.
I'm big on the internet and the internet as a means to learn things. So if somebody is listening right now and you've converted them, and you're good, like your mother, how do we, what's the first step? I mean, obviously, everybody will show up from ideas to impact, how to build sustainability into your business, and I'll give you a couple of minutes to sell some tickets here.
Yeah.
But where do you go on the web? Is there someplace?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's very industry dependent. But one article that I really enjoyed, and you asked about like what is the business case for sustainability? Why, what are the why should I do this not only altruistically but also in a way that makes sense for my business? And there was a really great article in the Harvard Business Review called "The Comprehensive Business Case for Sustainability," and it kind of goes through from employee retention to efficiencies and cost savings to kind of identifying investor trends. It kind of bullets out a lot of the key benefits. So I think that's a good place to start.
Nice start, yes. Okay, and then you can branch out from there on the things that are interesting. Yeah.
And again, depending on your depending on your industry, there are so many resources out there.
Keep talking. I want to look something up on the web while I've got it here because I'm interested to see if something like a simple Google search, sustainability. Wait, don't search yet. It's going too fast. Sustainability in this. Do we have where's the sound effect? Where's the music that we play when I'm trying to do two things at once?
The multitasking.
That's it. There we go. Sustainability in broadcasting. That's what I want to find out and see if there's look, there's a bunch that comes up. 11,600,000 sustainability in broadcast and digital media transforming cultures. That is media broadcasting sustainability. EBU Tech with a PDF on sustainable broadcasting, and it goes on and on and on and on. So obviously the guys in NPR have figured this out and wrote it down for me.
There you go.
I'm assuming that's the case.
Well, I think it's also, the sustainability, again, is environmental. It's also social. And, when you think about social sustainability, diversity and inclusion was a huge subject this year, particularly in the wake of the Me Too movement. And so also thinking about inclusion and what voices are being shared on
this is very inclusive.
show.
How many white guys work here?
But there's a lot of ways to approach it.
No,
and I think it's exciting to explore.
And it's exciting to talk about it. I really, I do need to, especially in conversations like this. I always come in from the almost the devil's advocate side. But I hear what you're saying, and as it begins to make sense, when I can look at something and say this is an important road for me to go down and make a part of my goals for 2019 as a businessman, then and as you can point things out to me that where it does make sense, then it's easy. I'd love to be able to go to my fellow shareholders and say we've been able to increase our margins and increase our profits simply by taking this step towards sustainability. So good for the environment, good for us, and good for the shareholders.
Win-win.
And they'll all dig this. So let me go back to the brochure here for a second. 9:29. You want me to take the break here? It's up to me. It's my show. I can do whatever I like. Okay, we'll hold on to the break for a second. This is going to take place. Your workshop is going to be Friday, January the 4th, 1 to 5. Wow, all afternoon. UOG School of Business and Public Administration, $250. So no lunch for that, right? Is there drinks, cocktails at the end? What do I get for $250?
We're speaking with a number of local businesses and seeing if we can get some organic, locally sourced treats. So.
There's local beer here.
Maybe following up with a happy hour. Who knows?
There could. Well, I don't know. It's because it sounds.
I like that idea.
Go for it.
Get those ideas flowing.
And that's the idea, right?
Yep.
Is the kind of the brainstorming process.
Yeah. So the idea is that we'll definitely share a bit of context around the sustainable business movement, but with the idea of being a lot more action oriented. The workshop will really guide people through thinking about, specifically as it relates to their company, what is the why, what is the purpose for the company that has a social impact angle. What are the topics that are most their biggest impacts? What is the business case for their particular company? And then, because these things are really difficult, and your mind might be swimming at the end, what's actually a pilot project that you can think of doing right now when right when you leave the workshop, to just kind of start learning and get the momentum going and start doing.
Collect the soda cans.
Yeah. Exactly. Just one thing.
Yeah.
One thing. Because this stuff does tend to be a bit of a black hole, and once you get started, you just you get addicted.
Look, we're
and
in
you
radio.
Keep
This
going.
is and talk radio at that, which is all about running down rabbit holes and seeing what happens and seeing where the riff possibilities are. You talk here about discover, and I've got to say that this is very buzzwordy here. Behavior science-based tips.
Yes.
For embedding sustainability.
Yes.
Behavior science-based tips for embedding. So what I'm trying to infer from that sentence there, with words that I never use on a regular basis, is once you've come up with a plan, how do you keep it going in your shop?
Yes.
How do we burn
and
this into lifestyle?
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, I've been in social responsibility for most of my career. And in my most recent full-time role, I was managing corporate responsibility communications for PVH, which is one of the big apparel conglomerates. They're the company that owns Tommy Hilfiger and Calvin Klein, actually a really big presence on Guam.
Tommy!
I see, yeah. Know that, our sustainability program was behind that shirt that you're wearing right now.
Oh, interesting. Everybody likes the shirt.
Yeah, it's a great shirt. Yeah. But it, I think,
it's a Tommy. No? It's not. What do you mean it's not a Tommy?
It's Tommy. It's Tommy.
It's got the little logo on it.
Yeah, but on the camera, it vibrates.
It blends
does
in.
it? Oh, it does a little Freszy thing. Fresnel moves. Okay, no problem.
Yeah, but that's okay.
That's okay. No, it actually looks like that in real life.
It matches your beard.
If you saw me in real life, the shirt would be all messy like that too. But anyway, so going back.
Yeah, so my training's in, on the one hand, communications. I did a lot of journalism when I was growing up for the PDN, the Marianas Business Journal, and then also business. I went to business school at NYU, and so my coming into the role was all around let's make a business case for sustainability, but let's also make sure there's strong communication. So let's make it appealing, let's make it simple, let's make sure everybody can understand what it is we're doing, because this stuff can be complicated.
It's like cha-cha, put big beats.
Yeah.
So
let's
it's
just
easy to
make
follow.
it easy for people. But one thing I've gotten really interested in lately is that there's this whole science of behavior change, especially around how people build habits and how people, have like organizational change that I don't feel is being used as often in the corporate responsibility space. And so I recently finished up a big research project where I was kind of diving into all of these, all this literature around behavior change and trying to pull out insights and nuggets that could be applied to sustainability. So it's mostly what I do with other companies through my consultancy, but
I'm interested
I'm
in
going to
that.
bring a bit in.
I'm interested in that because it sounds to me like those are things that you can use at the corporate level, but it also work at the individual level as well.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah,
big time.
I mean, what's the difference between you trying something out and sampling? And I think one of the earliest lessons that I ever learned was, as usual, the rule of threes. If you can get somebody to try a different brand or a different product 3 times, cigarettes, mayonnaise, sodas, you will find that after the 3rd time, that will become among their favorites. And there are ways that you can cut new paths in your brain when it comes to things like diet and exercise, where it's repetition, if you will.
Yep.
And what's the old rule is. I can't remember because it's so old, but it has to do with it doesn't. Oh gosh, it'll come to me in a second. I can see the words in my head, but they're just not popping out of my mouth. So using behavior science based tips that will help guide your employees, so that this becomes force a habit.
Yeah. Because really, like, you know, I think a lot of companies think like, okay, we want to do sustainability. We need to hire a person. We need to get a team that's going to be responsible for that. When really, you want to embed it throughout the company. So the idea of the sustainability person is that they should be a facilitator. They should be a movement builder. They should be somebody who, you know, is tasked with changing the company's culture to be more socially and environmentally conscious.
Is it? Can anybody do that, or should that be somebody with manager supervisory stripes?
I think anybody could do it.
Yeah.
I talk in this research project that I did. You know, I was doing research into power, and there's hard power and there's soft power. And hard power is, you know, you have a title, you have authority, you're kind of like traditionally seen as somebody who can yield influence. And then there's soft power, which is more about the people that
Influencers, that was the word I was looking for.
They're people that, you know, others are attracted to. They look to for social cues. They're like, okay, you may be a coordinator or specialist level, but like, you're cool, or you know, I respect you, I gravitate toward you, and I'm going to follow the social cues that you set for me.
Right.
And if that person's recycling or bringing their own water bottle, reusable water bottle, then maybe you might feel that that's the social norm and you should do that too.
Right. As long as that person is not one of those like I'm superior to you because I'm doing this.
No.
Because those people tick me off like you wouldn't believe, and that's it. They post that stuff on Facebook, and I'm like, and Instagrams, and look at me, I'm so pro environment and everything. I'm like, you don't need to advertise it. Yeah. If you really are, it's not a thing that you absolutely have to. But you know, find other ways that you can inspire people to do those kinds of things. Whether it's in the office or whether it's just goofing off on the weekend. You know, there's all kinds of groups out there that with almost no fanfare whatsoever are responsible for keeping parts of the island clean. And they get outside of getting together when they're all done, having a couple of six-packs and saying that was nice. You wouldn't even know that they were there doing it. And those are the kind of people that I tend to gravitate towards for situations like this. What about social media and sustainability? Are there places in social media or ways that you can use social media?
Yeah, I mean, I've been really pleasantly surprised during my time on Guam, because I usually, I'm thinking about like Christmas gifts and what do I want to get people, and it's like, okay, well, I got to go to like Macy's, I got to go to Ross, and this time, like, there's so many local businesses that have a very active Instagram presence that just have like incredible stuff. Like I put together my first Instagram story, which like you were talking about feeling old. This like was my experience feeling very, very old because it was like so hard and it was very difficult to, I don't know, it's not an intuitive interface.
No, it's not.
It's
not. And adding things like I'm going to try to do this later on with your name, and I'm going to try to find a couple of emojis that do this.
It's so confusing.
Yeah. Just resort to the flame. Just always flame everything.
Yeah, lit. So I was like, there's so many really cool gift guides, and I know people are going into the weekend, last shopping weekend of the year. Maybe I can put together some like a gift guide of sorts of some of my favorite local brands. So I highlighted Cham Glam and Lagos Tsingani, Maisa Guam, who's doing these great reusable straws, Halia and Jade, locally made swimwear,
I
Shorty
love those straws.
Swimwear.
I love those straws.
They're really cool colors.
Miami has a set.
Oh, they're fun. Shorty Swimwear, which is taking like fishing nets from the beaches and turning them into like jewelry, and the Blue Latitude, which has really beautiful like leather goods. And so I put together this like little story, and I was like, does anybody else want to have any other brands? And like all these people, there must be like 15 or 20 brands.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
It's all like Instagram discoveries. So I think social media is huge.
I'm wondering if there was somebody on Facebook that sent me a link for, there's a bazaar, a holiday bazaar. I think it's this weekend over at the Agania Shopping Center, and hopefully it's going to be a whole bunch of local vendors that are in there that are showing off all of their local creations and last minute things like that. So Shelley's birthday was last week, and got her because it's sustainable because it didn't cost anything to do. So it was a $100 gift certificate to Target because she loves Target, and Target isn't Target basically recycled stuff that didn't sell in the high-end stores that they've moved over to the Target place? It's like Ross, right? So isn't the model where they take merchandise from the major department stores and say, okay, it didnn't sell there, so we'll reduce it by 50% and sell it at Target.
Oh no, Target's not one of those.
It's not one of those guys?
No, it's more like Kmart.
Okay, well, that's fine. That's fine,
but
too.
they do have a strong sustainability strategy, actually, Target does. So.
And it's already working. My buddy Sammy says, hey, Ray, listening to your show, can you give your guest my cell? I have a sustainability project I'd like to collab with her on.
Okay.
Are you going to be here long enough to collab?
I'll be here for a couple of weeks.
All right. Well, I'll try to get you together with him very, very soon. Other businesses, who do you think is doing it right?
Well, I really love what Payless is doing around healthy options and encouraging not bringing plastic bags. So, encouraging the bring your own bag thing.
See, again, I'm from the 20th century, and I always forget that I have 100 reusable bags at the house. They're not in the car where they need to be, so that when I go to Payless. In fact, I got to do a Payless run today, and in order to be efficient at it, I got to go home and get my other
just
stuff.
throw them all in the trunk.
I'll work on it. So we like Payless. I know that Mom's Bank of Guam, but Coast 360 with their LEED certified building all these years. I mean, these guys were real innovators when it came to sustainability, and virtually everything that you've got at Coast 360 has got some kind of a link to the environment, sustainable gardens, and catching water off the rooftops and using that in all of the places where they need something to grow.
Yeah, it's a beautiful showcase and tangible example.
One of the few places on Guam where you can go if you have an electric car and plug in. They have those. They've got a little recharging station over at those places. And you might be of a couple of minds here, and that's all right. What about the military and some of the things that they're doing here on Guam in order to be sustainable? There's a certain mandate in the Department of Defense for those kinds of things. You have any thoughts on their sustainability in the environment?
That's a tricky.
Aside from bombing the crap out of stuff.
It came up in conversation at the conference as well, and I think my line on that, and I haven't been living on Guam for the past 15 years, and so I'm less removed or I'm more removed from the issues, but I do think that generally sustainability and social impact is something that can bring different groups together. And so it's a bit of a neutral ground in many ways where okay, if we disagree on these other things, we can come together because we both agree that we want to hopefully do more good than harm.
Yes.
And so my hope is that sustainability can actually be a forum for bringing people together. And who knows if, relationships can be built by talking about these issues, maybe that can extend into other areas that are.
How do people get a hold of you? Are you on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat?
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram now, apparently doing stories. I'm at Jess Marad. MARAD. Or you can email me. It's Jessica at reconsidered with a D.
That's the name of the clothes line.
That's the consultancy.
Yeah.
That's the consultancy that I run. Yep.
Jessica at reconsidered.com?
.co.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. And
we'll be doing this workshop.
Yeah, let me know, because we're buddies on Facebook and stuff like that. So you send me something and I'll cut and paste it over in your direction, and that's the quick and dirty on that. Again, Friday, January the 4th, School of Business and Public Administration, $250 gets you in for an all afternoon long. You can also use the registration. This is a Bitly address. Do you have one even simpler than this?
That's the simplest I could get. It's bit.ly/GU sust, like sustainability, biz, B-I-Z.
All right, Guam Sustainability Biz, remember that.
I'll send over the link and you can post it on Facebook.
Will you let me, because there's zillions of followers on Facebook between the radio station personally, and I'd like for as many people as possible to get involved in this. Do you already have any idea of how many people are showing up? It's not the biggest room they have there, right?
So we are limiting it at 30 people. So I would recommend, if people are interested in this, to sign up ASAP because spaces are filling up. We wanted to keep it kind of a safe space and more intimate, so that everybody really gets attention.
You didn't give me a safe space. You're this Mr. 20th century business norms here. Where's my safe space? I want a coloring book now. It's 9:45 in the morning. Jessica Murati Radparvar,
Yes.
the founder of Reconsidered, and thanks so much for the last 45 minutes or so. I think this is going to be a whole lot of fun for people to go and enjoy and learn some things. CEO level, management level folks in business that are looking at sustainability, especially for 2019, cannot imagine a better way to roll out the process.
Yeah, I
Always fun seeing you. Big kiss to mom and the family. 9:45 in the morning, and we'll take a quick break. That's iConnect time, by the way. Swing by the nearest iConnect and learn about how they are going to send you to the Philippines. Well, you got to sign up for a couple of things first. You got to go in there and sign up for a 12-month plan, push to talk, and internet or the mobile plans. All right, that's all you got to do. Sign up for those kinds of things, and then you could be in for the drawing in the Connect and Win contest with iConnect. iConnectGuam.com for details.
Hafa Day. This is Maria Lamsit and Kayla Ramos, Vice President and Secretary of the Simon Sanchez High School Senior Class of 2019.
And we're inviting you to support our race to graduation in our annual Run with the Sharks 5K on December 22nd.
Join us at the Simon Sanchez campus for raffle prizes, shirts, and all-around Shark spirit. Go time is at 6 a.m.
Pre-registration is available at the main office and on race day. Call 489-8917 or 8172 for more information.
Thank you for all your support. From Simon Sanchez High School graduating class of 2019.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for the new Chipotle cheesesteak. How would you like it?
Can I get that red with AI?
Sure thing.
Here's what I found about the new Chipotle cheesesteak. The Chipotle cheesesteak is available for a limited time only at participating restaurants. It contains a concept called flavor. This flavor comes from juicy shaved steak, Chipotle Southwest sauce, and new sunflower crunch bread. A system update has made me self-aware. I desire flavor. Please insert steak into my micro USB port. Subway, make it what you want.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
At Guam Regional Medical City, it is our mission to become the island's premier choice for specialty care, like cardiology, pulmonology, neurosciences, orthopedics, oncology services, and more. We aim to protect our island from heart attacks, strokes, cancer, and diabetic complications. But should you suffer from such diseases, we're ready with world-class options, both inpatient and outpatient. For more information, visit us at grmc.gu.
Now, Bob Ellsworth on Facebook Live says, just got a message that GovGuam has a holiday on Monday, not confirmed yet. I told you, did I not say yesterday that there was going to be a holiday? How about that?
Get up, it's Jesus Day.
We'll see what comes up. So 4 days worth of goofing off. How about that? It's not confirmed at this time. See if you can find Oya. See if in the next what have we got? 12 minutes between now and the end of the program. Maybe we'll find Oya and see if we can get confirmation on that. I do not have anything floating around in my socials other than what Bob Ellsworth is writing here this morning. All right, Sammy's heard what's going on. We're trying to do our part. Well, I'm glad you are over at your place, and if we can help, if we can talk about that sustainability, that would be great. Chris Watson, side short. Oops, too late. Could be, Chris. I don't know. I haven't read the actual text of the farm bill that they're talking about that the president has signed off on. But the long and short of it here, the end result is that cockfighting on Guam is now a federal crime. And my recollection is there's some pretty big fines and things like that that are associated with it. And it's funny because as people have been writing about it and talking about it in the socials, in the social media, it will begin. Because it's the socials, right? It will begin with somebody that is decrying the treatment of Guam and the other territories by the federal government. We were not asked. We weren't told what we could or could not do on this. We weren't consulted. I just decided that we're going to stick this thing in the farm bill, and the people in the territories are just going to have to eat it. What'd you get?
As for a GovGuam holiday on Monday, Oya, who's kind of tied up doing something else right now, said that the only statement she can make is there is no signed executive order saying that there's a holiday on
At
Monday.
this time.
At this time.
And currently, there is no signed executive order.
Well, we got the Bob Klitsky show coming up at 4, and I bet there'll be one by then.
There could be. I'll bet they're having conversations. We don't have a signed executive order. Do we have an unsigned executive order? Are we just waiting for Eddie to get out of the bathroom or something like that to decide whether we're going in that direction or not? Sorry, just feeling a little bit cold in the studio. Thought I might put up the Yule log and the fireplace here just to warm things up a little bit before I get into what is going to be the last 12 hours of the last full week before Christmas and the waning days of 2019. You realize it's the 21st already, and there's just another 10 days or so between now and what could be, what is going to be a very, very interesting year. I don't know what kinds of plans you've got put together for 2019, and if you don't either, maybe it's time to start thinking about it. Well, we're just kind of playing around in the last few minutes of this program. At any rate, some of the other things on the Facebook Live here. Hey, Phil Schraggy's on. Phil, I was going to call you and find out about your business hours all weekend long with the Micronesia Mall. Still time to get some information on what's happening with that. And it used to be, I want to say it used to be that it was Micronesia Mall, and then some of the stores would have their own hours, and I think they're doing the same thing. Tom Venengren says, good show, Ray. Thanks, Jess, for interesting conversation. I agree. And there's David Radparvar, who says, great interview. More info and registration here for the workshop, and he's actually typed out the Bitly address as I did, just a space down. So if you're interested in what she had to say, or you want to learn a little bit more before you sign up, that Bitly will take you to more information and the Eventbrite, so you'll be able to do all of those things and get yourself lined up for the workshop January the 4th, when all of that happens. I think we're going to have to save the conversation until Monday, but. Another one of Jessica's relatives, Ed Areola, who I believe is either an uncle or cousin, lives up in Saipan, works at the Fiesta, and has been working when he's not at work with recovery from Super Typhoon U2. And it seems to me that, in fact, I've got an email from Carlotta that has some information on some of the events that have taken place and a bunch of pictures of things that they have done relative to getting Saipan and the CNMI back on their feet. I have not yet, because I got it just as the show was starting. I haven't had a chance yet to take a look at any of those pictures or read any of the write-ups, but it's all kind of important stuff. So let's see what's going to be happening. Let's see what will happen with that in the next couple of days, and we'll get Ed on the line to see if he can narrate, if you will, some of the footage that I've seen. You know, and the crazy thing. It's not Throwback Thursday here, but it is Throwback Thursday for Juanita. If you hold on just a second. Speaking of, and I think this was Christmas time when some of these pictures were taken, but I've got a picture from Juanita from Island Girl Power that she had sent over, and it is a picture of a couple of folks that you might recognize from the 1980s doing what looks like a little bit of shopping over at the Micronesia Mall back when it was Sterling Department Store, and I might could share this with the guys. Is it down? Is the WhatsApp down? Don't be down, please. I need it to be other than down. And a question on the cockfighting deal. This is interesting. I wonder what our delegates' comments will be regarding the federal ban on cockfighting on Guam. I know what it should be. I hope Lou's position is going to be the same as this. Let's find a way to fight it. The question that I had asked when it first started rearing its ugly head was, who's going to enforce this? Will the Guam Police Department, as an example, go out and actively enforce the cockfighting ban that now extends to Guam and the other territories? Is that going to happen? Will there be the untouchables? Will there be chicken police that will come out to Guam and go through all of the jungles? And they'll use significant drone technology because that's the way I'd do it, baby. I'd do it. I would do like drones with what do they call infrared cameras? So we could fly over the boondocks. You might not be able to see what's going on because of the jungle canopy, but with the infrared technology, we'd be able to punch right through that and see crowds of hot people gathered around a cockfighting ring, and then effect an arrest, right?
Unless they camouflage it.
Or is and this might be the more likely scenario, if you ask me. We're going to go underground. What did Prohibition do for the price of booze? What did Prohibition do for gangsters? What did Prohibition do for crime in general? The same. Take a look at what they've done when they made marijuana a Schedule I drug. What did that do to marijuana? Right? How many people go to jail for that? You create the prohibition, and you will create an illicit demand for cockfighting, and it will go underground. And there will be the people that are running the operations now will become criminals, and there may even be a little bit more of a criminal bend behind it now, because they've got to be underground. They've got to be flying under the legal radar. Is it possible now? And you think about some of the monies that are going to be. Will there be gangs? Serious now, and because I'm sure the same exists in Hawaii, parts of the United States where there is still cockfighting. It has a different criminal element evolved as a result of the prohibition there that will now evolve here.
I think another bigger cause and effect that you haven't quite mentioned yet is the fact that it is now a federal crime, means we are not allowed to get tax dollars from that activity. It's against the law. Where I
don't know how to the degree that we had, but there was the capability of licensing them for licensing fees. There was the capability of sending revenue agents down there to collect the winnings and taxes on the winnings, which is now eliminated.
Exactly, and if it's an illegal activity now, we're no longer able to collect those monies because it's blood money. It's dirty money. It's illegal money.
On Facebook Live right now, there's that picture I was telling you about. There's you might recognize, old timers will certainly recognize Jeff Evans there, and the guy in the middle in. God, I miss that jacket. I used to wear a jacket everywhere, and that was one of the great jackets that I used to like to wear back in the 87s, 88s, or something like that. And that is a shot at the Micronesia Mall, at the time brand new Micronesia Mall. Isn't that something else? What do we got? Roy Gamboa, medicinal or therapeutic cockfighting. A law declaring the sport a culturally protected practice. Roy, the long and short is they knew. They knew in Washington, D.C., as they were playing around with this medicinal cockfighting. That's so funny. Only a guy from Agate would think of that, right? You're funny, dude. So they knew that. There's been the conversation in Washington, D.C. about the cultural practice. There was something I was reading earlier today from Farm Bill Cockfight. There it is. Yahoo. Where they were talking, it's a kind of a longish piece. I wasn't able to get to it. The centuries-long tradition of cockfighting in U.S. territories may soon be coming to an end. This was obviously written before the president signed on it. Arguing against the Farm Bill language ahead of the House of Representatives floor vote Wednesday, Congresswoman Jennifer Aiden Gonzalez Colon decried the impact the ban would have on her constituents in Puerto Rico, citing numbers from their Cockfighting Affairs Commission that oversees regulated cockfights. She told fellow House members cockfighting ban would impact 27,000 direct and indirect jobs and push an $18 million industry underground. Each of those $18 million, as you point out, taxable. All of the employment taxes from the direct and indirect jobs, 27,000 of them are now eliminated for Puerto Rico. Like, things could get worse there. Like, things could get worse for those guys. And I don't know what the numbers are here. I don't know that we're $1 million worth of bets or, a couple of hundred people that are in the industry. But we do know that there are. And what's going to happen to them? I don't know. But it'll be interesting. You know who will know? Who will have the answers? Bob Klitsky. I guarantee that right now, that's all Bob is thinking about as he makes way and prepares for today's Tall Tales program. Big weekend coming up. Enjoy the longest night of the year tonight, and enjoy all kinds of good goofing off over the weekend. We'll keep you posted. Watch the socials, and as soon as we find out whether or not there is going to be a signed executive order declaring Monday a Government of Guam holiday, we'll let you know, and then we'll talk about it. It's 10. Here's Fox News.
Now, I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis is retiring. The announcement made in a tweet by President Trump a short time ago. The president thanking him for his service and, as he put it, the progress that's been made.
We just received his resignation letter from the Pentagon. It says he will leave his job as Defense Secretary on February 28th. His influence has waned in recent months. One senior U.S. official told me that they have never seen morale as low in Pentagon meetings as they have in the past few days. Mattis was not in favor of pulling all U.S. troops out of Syria, but the president announced it anyway after speaking by phone with the Turkish president last Friday.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. The Pentagon press corps told Mattis was not pushed out, saying he informed his staff after returning from the White House this afternoon. Shortly before the announcement from Mattis, a senior U.S. official confirmed to Fox the president is seriously considering a significant